It's trying.
Official business, ma'am. Side, please. Side, please. Thank you. Official business, sir, ma'am. Emergency, please step aside, sir.
Hey, get lost. I'm waiting here, huh?
FBI, you might want to stay out of this, all right, sir? Excuse me, sir, ma'am. Please back off. All right, I need 8 double tall.
Nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with it.
Oh man, listen. It's possible that you'll have to wait online here at Sixth Scale Cantina, and I say no. Just tell me what table you're at, baby, because I am serving it all up tonight. And in case you all didn't know, I am the Dark Jedi, Aries Tarrington, and I'll be serving up all the Star Wars Hot Toys talk, along with this great panel here today.
Yes.
Are you kidding me? So listen, let's go ahead and go through the panel and introduce everybody that's in here. But first, I will tell you, I am not prepared for this show. I was telling everybody backstage, like I don't have all the images I usually have. I do have the topics. So, but I don't think we have to flash the images so much. And really the imagery that I want to go to later in the show, I do have that ready because I know exactly where I want to go with that. But without no further ado, let's go to the first assistant bartender who's going to be helping me out tonight. Metamorphic Customs. Dude, where's my diorama?
I was just working on it. I had to stop though because I had to go on this stream. I don't know why, but I was just working on it and trying to film it so you can see the process now.
Ooh,
so
listen, it's going to be hot.
That. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Well, listen, how are you doing?
I'm all right. Especially now that I'm here. I'm just waiting for my coffee. I need to get that.
Coming right up. What table are you at? Well, listen, you're at the kind of the host table here, so coming right up for you, my friend.
Excellent.
We're serving it all up.
Thank you. Good to be here. Thank you for the invite, Aries.
And absolutely good to have Desy in here. Metamorphic Customs in the house. Listen, he makes fantastic base covers and dioramas. And is it possible that I have the link to Metamorphic Customs Desy's Facebook page where you could find out all about what he can provide to you in the video description below and on SixthScaleCantina.com? And I say yes. So make sure you check this man out. He does absolutely fabulous work, and always great to go to you, Desy, from an artist perspective when it comes to Star Wars Hot Toys. Is it possible we'll be going to tonight with some of those with some insight? I think so. But Will, I don't think you have a PowerPoint for me, do you?
No, I wish I did, man. I could do one of the old ones. I could redo it. I could represent it.
That was awesome the other night. Well, yeah, if you got one, pick one out from where you did. But listen, Will, what's going on?
Dude, not much, Aries. I don't know if you saw, Lael was on there last night, and I may have convinced him to pay his shipping invoice because I got my XM Darth Revan quarter scale. Dude, that thing, Aries, is badass, man.
Do you have it? Did you open it up yet? I mean,
I did. Yeah, I did an unboxing on my channel. It's actually right over there, but you wouldn't be able to see it because it's a little bit dark over there. But it's amazing. It's really good. Lael was on there last night, so you can vouch for it. But it's got some cool swap outs. You have 2 purple lightsabers, and then you have a red one you could put in his right hand. You could put him with a force hand too, kind of force pushing something. It's a cool badass pose, man. It's a really, really good piece. DHL almost screwed up my life, but they ended up fixing it. So yeah, I won't go too much in that, but I do want to give a shout out. Todd from Spec Fiction really came through for me on this one. So I want to give him a shout out because he really did a great job for me. So it was great. And also, Aries, you know what else I did? I just unboxed them. I got some frames because I've been on this art print kick, right? So I got those. Then I just realized this is why you always measure because the wall space that I have, the frames don't fit. So now I got to find somewhere else to put them. It's the life of a collector, I guess. But this is why you always measure. Pro tip of the day, because I didn't.
Well. Listen. So people could go to your channel and actually see this unboxing right at your channel, Willfoxification, correct?
Yep. And I'm gonna do a review of it too. But I want to see Lael get his. So I want to be there for his unboxing. So.
All right. Well, listen. Everybody, check out Willfoxification's channel and check out the unboxing of this great figure. And what we're going to go to Victoria and Lael. But before we do, I'm serving it all up. Let me know what table you're at. We all know what table Grogu's at, and probably with Popsick right now. And Grogu already wants a refill. Let's go to the next guest. Victoria from Victoria's Cantina is in the house. Victoria, it's such a pleasure to have you in here. You have your live show every late Friday night here, at least on the East Coast. But you do so many videos on collectibles and the Hasbro stuff, and so good to have you on here to talk a little bit about that and about Hot Toys. Welcome to the Cantina.
Aries, it's an honor, everybody. It's a privilege to be here. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to hang out and to talk Hot Toys and to have a good time. So yeah, it's awesome to see everybody. It's awesome to be able to do this. Hot Toys isn't a huge focus on my channel. I do a lot of Star Wars, mostly more than anything. But I focus on the vintage collection, the Black Series, and I need an outlet to talk Hot Toys. And I think this is going to be the perfect way to do that. And, I love Hot Toys. I've been collecting since 2016. I've been on YouTube since 2013. So I love doing things like this. So thanks so much for having me on.
No, absolutely. It's such a pleasure. I know we've talked before. So glad that we're able to make this happen. So from one cantina to another cantina, let's go. Both from Planet Tatooine, and last but certainly not least, Lael, I'm still buzzing over both of our shows last week. It was epic doing the Aries Tarrington show with you. Yeah. And then we just carried it over, the whole vibe, and all your guests later that night on Say What. What's up, brother?
Yeah. Oh man, it's good to be here, bro. Like it's been an eventful day. It's been crazy, but yeah, like I'm so glad to be here, man. I'm so glad to be here with everyone. Waiting for my diorama from Desy as well. So once that happens, I'll definitely let you know. Will did bait me last night. He got me on the show last night and did the unboxing. I'm telling you, that Revan it's fantastic.
How about that Alita layout?
Yeah, I know, but that Revan has so much presence. It was definitely incredible. Visita, I'm so glad to be here with you because it's about time that we get a chance to see a lot of women collectors on shows and stuff like that because they're just as huge as we are. So I'm so happy to see that. So, I mean, of course, anytime you ever want to have a space and, drop in on my show and talk about toys and collecting, definitely do that. I'm trying to actually get more women involved in, collecting or actually talking about their collections and jumping on live shows and live streams to have these conversations. So it is such a pleasure to finally, be able to sit next to someone who actually does it. So, and is on the show live. So definitely love that. And I was actually sitting up here and admiring. I have a tendency to look at everybody's collection. So, I'm looking at yours. I'm looking at Desy. I always look at Aries and Will. If it's not Pennywise, then it is what it is. But no, other than that, so glad. Nice to meet you and glad to be here. Definitely.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you as well. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Victoria, I'm really looking forward, and real quick, we'll plug it again at the end, but I believe I'm on your show. It's late Friday night here for a lot of us on the East Coast. I think it's February 4th, right? And tell us a little bit about that live show you have Friday night. I think it's 11 p.m. Eastern.
Yes, so it's called Cantina Cocktail Hour, and usually whoever comes on the show, myself included, we concoct, our own cocktails, or we do something classic and we bring them onto the show. And it's just drinking and talking toys, talking Star Wars, talking whatever manner of collectibles or topics we want to talk about. We go an hour or 2 hours, and it's just about having fun. There's really not a format to the show. It's a spin-off of my podcasts. I have the Cantina Chatter podcast, the Vintage Collection podcast. And so it was just a way to do it, the same thing, but to be on live and to talk to everybody in a guest type format, just like kind of what we're doing here. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to having you there, Aries.
Yeah, no, looking forward to coming. It is possible that you're going to allow me to bring some off-world Jawa egg juice and some wizard juice. What say you?
I say it is entirely possible.
Okay, well then stay tuned for that. All right, let's say hi, everybody, to some of the people in here. I'm going to try to get to you all, but I'm just an old dog who's just having fun in here, so I'll do the best that I can. But Fabio's in the house from Fabio Land. Let's go. Metamorphic Customs. Who's that? No, okay, we know that. Desy.
No
Look
idea.
at the chat. The drink order going
I wouldn't
up.
trust that guy.
Xander is in the house. Welcome, Xander. Boba Fett Tech is in the house saying, how's it going, Aries? Ready for some afternoon coffee. There you go. But it's evening here, but I'm assuming you're probably close to the West Coast. Max's Geekdom is in here. What's up? Paul Morales, hello to you. Tom is in the house. Clone Trooper, Braden, yo. Corey, am I late? No, I was late. Listen, but I had a good excuse. And listen, dude, I love your I love your avatar there, baby. Come on, let's fill him up again. Yeah, let's keep going through these. CT206. Listen, are you friends with TK Phobo? Is that his name?
TK421.
TK421. Why aren't you at your post? Jason puts in, hopefully Ahsoka starts shipping before the Chinese New Year. Look, we're going to get into that a little bit. We got some other things. Lael and I have feelings, deep feelings about this. Alexandro's in the house. Hello, everyone. Where's the coffee at? Come on, baby. I've been serving it up. What table are you at? I also got proper 66. Now I know McGregor with his proper 12. He's not fighting tonight. But let me tell you, there's a huge UFC event tonight. Ciro Gane versus Francis Ngannou. Look, I can't wait. Is it possible I'm going to be watching that on pay-per-view? And I say, yes, can't wait. Couple more, guys, so many in here. And Punisher's in the house. Eric is in the house. Vengeful Canadian is in the house. Goodness gracious. Joanne wants Tauntaun milk at table 2. Coming right up. Come on. Keep going through these Riley reviews in here. Welcome. What's up, guys? What's up to you? Primetime reviews. OG fan.
When Star Wars was just Star Wars. My guy.
Yeah, what a great supporter, Lael, right? So all the different channels, I see OG everywhere. Yeah. And just like so many, everybody in here. Ramstein fan 79. Come on. And welcome to you all who's in here. This is the Market Show Live. And I am Aries. And look at this wonderful group of guests here tonight. And, it's actually been, everybody, blue milk. You got it. Table 1337. Will, I didn't know the Cantina was that big that we have a table 1337.
Hey, it's expanding, Aries. That's all I can say. The Cantina is always growing and evolving. So buy stock now. That's all I can say.
Buy it now. As quick as you can.
Yeah, get your stock. Right. Don't sell. Hold it.
I'm going to start this off with Victoria. Victoria, this is the first time you're on. We're going to go to the first topic today. So even though I'm
ladies first. Always.
That's good, Lael. That's right.
We're a panel of gentlemen. First. We are.
Yes.
But this is something very interesting to me, and I want to pull this up. So I was prepared with at least the topics, but I think it's more about the panel here today than more about me showing pictures. But I'm going to put the first topic up on the screen. And Hot Toys versus all other licensed action figures. It doesn't matter, people here on the panel or in the chat, if it's a 6-inch figure, a 3/4 inch, regular, Kenner, Hasbro, or whatever figure, doesn't matter, whatever size action figure it is. But Hot Toys versus all other licensed action figures. What makes them so appealing? And modernly, when I'm talking about like current times, legendary. And Victoria, I'm going to go to you because for me, and I've talked to other people, and even people, I have people around my family, that come on over and close friends. They know I'm a Star Wars nut. They know that I'm a collecting guru and freak. But even then, when they see the hot toy, it's like, whoa, whoa. Everything's always like, whoa. And before I even start, I've been collecting for decades, but I really just started collecting hot toys very, very, very recently. And I remember just looking through the years though, and I'm like, man, I got to get into that because that is like so. For me, what always attracted me was where the head sculpts, and I always thought, wow, I got to get into that. I keep, when in my vintage days and whatnot, and I would see like a DX07, or I see like that Jack Sparrow, one of the older ones. So I'm like, wow. And for me, it's just like that's what's appealing. But on this topic, Hot Toys versus all other licensed action figures. For you, Victoria, and obviously you cover so much in collecting, what do you think makes them appealing and modernly legendary?
I think it's the evolution. Look at where Star Wars figures began. 3 3/4 inches. They looked so much unlike the characters from the film that the packaging, they had to put a picture of the characters so that you would know who it was. It just grew from there. They evolved into the 1990s, the Power of the Force 2. They've been making modern figures from Hasbro for over 2 decades now, going on 3 decades. And they came in with Black Series, and you have all the Japanese and import companies, Kotobukiya, Mafex, Bandai doing their own thing and putting their own spin on it. But then you get to Hot Toys, and that evolution from that very first figure in this 1978 to what you have now, what you've had for the last several years, is just, it's incomparable. They're just two completely different beasts. In seeing that what a Hot Toys is and how it is, the whole history of from point A to point B, I think really makes them special. And like you were saying, you show them to people and they see them and they come in and they're like, wow, this is unlike anything I've seen. This is realistic. This is really cool. And if you have them in a glass cabinet, it's probably pretty special. It's probably worth a lot to you personally. And I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Lael, I think Victoria, she brings up some good points. And one of the things that she brought up that's very interesting. She brought up how you needed the picture with the action figure on some of these, and still today, so people can say, oh, that's Luke, or oh, that's Han Solo, or that's this. And with Hot Toys, actually, they actually use the actual picture of the prototype Hot Toy, which is not even sometimes as good as the final version, and that's what they use as the picture. But what are your thoughts on this opening up?
No, I mean, hey, I really definitely echo her. I echo what she's saying. Now the evolution of what we're actually seeing right now, the character likeness, the actor likeness of each individual figure that we have now versus what we used to have from Kenner, Hasbro. It was back then. It was appealing to us as children, or as when we were young, because it was an IP that we were so vested in. So it was important to us, no matter what we saw and no matter how imperfect it was, it drew us at that point. But once we get older, we look back, it's like, oh my God, really? It's valued, but it's just like, I can't believe it. The seam was always across the top of the head. There was zero movement. I remember, I'm going back classic when the lightsaber was inside the arm. You had to slide it up.
Yeah.
Vader's cape was like a nylon, or it was a cape that went over and slid over. That had somewhat of a hood, somewhat. It was just incredible. But at the same time, we were always fascinated because, I remember I actually had my Darth Vader case to put my figures in. It was this. I had my land speeder to put Luke and Ben in, and it was incredible. Now where we come now full circle, we have these figures that are completely innovative, fully posable. The likeness is on point. The accessories, all the way down to the tailoring, it is a splitting image of what we see on film. And if you're a Star Wars fan, it's just like, it's a good time to be alive because like back then we didn't have those things. People are fortunate like now to have it, but we didn't have it. For us, we look at it as work of art. It's not something that we just play around with. It's like when Sideshow had that commercial when the guy wakes up in the morning, sees his son outside in the sand playing with all his figures and stuff like that. He's like, what? That's why I separate everything, and everything stays bound down here. Nobody from upstairs comes down here because it's a work of art. Like these are pieces that we do basically value over time. You know, it is historical nostalgia. This is, you know what we see. Hot Toys does it best. Me and Will, we talk about it all the time. No matter how mad we get about like business ethics, when it comes to what they do and the product that they deliver, is bar none. No one can touch them on that. Like literally, no one can touch them when it comes to that. Like they are superb, and we always wait. You know, we wanted. You know, we basically want it now, you know what I mean? But, you know, sometimes we have to wait a year out, couple years, whatever, doesn't matter. But I mean, also like it's what Hot Toys has done, you know, just mainly for the community. It's created these type of, you know, avenues we can conversate, socialize, jump on each other's stream. We could do, you know, content, you know, I can get, you know, baited by Jeddah. When he's always, you know, always baiting me into buy figures and stuff like that, and then tells everybody like he didn't do it, it was me.
That's what he does, bro.
That's what he does. He's like, yo, I didn't persuade you to do it. You did it yourself. I just threw it out there, and I'm like, yeah, okay. I hear you. But no, I'm just playing with him. Yeah, no, we get to watch, you know, just great content on everybody's channel and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what I think. You know, echoing everything that she said, like. That's what sets them ahead of the rest. I mean, you know, what we got right now. I mean, literally, like I'm as you were talking, I'm still going back to the earlier conversations when you were talking to Desy about customs. And I'm like looking, I'm looking at him, and I'm looking back here like, man, what do I want? Like, what do I like, I can get something.
Hey, the man's here.
Pick something.
I can definitely do something right there. Oh yes, you need something. So it's just like, you know, I just feel like, you know, we're in that space where we can, you know, it's so fun, and Hot Toys provides that. So I mean, what else? What else can you say, man? I just love it. I love it.
Well, absolutely. And thanks for those comments there. Before we get to you, Will and Desy, 102 in here. Thank you for watching. Please go ahead and right now, just go ahead and hit the like button. You are watching the Market Show live, and I am the Dark Jedi, Aries Tarrington, serving up all the Star Wars Hot Toys talk, along with these fine group here tonight. And speaking of Jedi Patrol, is it possible that he's in the house? I heard there was coffee in here. And I say, yes. Looking forward to hopefully having Ryan on one of these shows here in 2022 for the Market Show Live or the Aries Tarrington show. That would be a lot of fun. But good to have him in the house here for sure. Watching. We also got Carrie in the house. I need another Black Melon. Okay. And Maximum Rex is in here. Best Car Kid. Come on, Man of Hot Collectibles in the house. My man Dante. Hello, everyone. Making a quick stop by to say hi. Yes, what is going on, Dante? Is it possible that maybe we'll see Dante later in the show? We'll have to tune in to see. I think he's going to make an appearance in here. And it's Popsic in the house. It's Popsic. Look, table 5 belongs to him, and we all know who sits in there. We put him up, Grogu. Come on, and don't forget to hit the like button. But listen, let's go to you, Will. It's interesting. You know, this topic I have up over here: Hot Toys versus all other licensed action figures. Doesn't matter what size, and just action figures though. Specifically, not really statues or art or other type of collectibles like hats and things. Just sticking with action figures. What makes them so appealing? And I use probably the wrong word, but modernly, legendary. Like we're talking about, someone looks at it and they're like, oh, it's like freeze frame. Anyway,
right.
What's your take?
No, and I think that Aries right there sums up probably the biggest reason that people love Hot Toys, because I think we've always kind of understood that their biggest goal, their biggest business mission is to create something that's realistic as possible, right? And like Lael kind of iterated there, like no company can really touch them in terms of figures, in terms of realism, right? Like there are statue companies like J&D and Queen Studios, and even Prime One from time to time, who are creating very lifelike, like amazing pieces, art pieces. But as far as figures go, Hot Toys is definitely in a tier of their own. 3-0 makes some good stuff. There's some other companies like Soso's doing some good stuff. There's some like Game Toys, who I really love now. They're doing some really good stuff. But Hot Toys is tackling the two biggest IPs on planet Earth. And, they're tackling characters that people love, and they're creating them as lifelike as possible. And they're continually, like Victoria said, they're continually raising the bar for themselves. Like Lael said, they don't always evolve as quickly or innovate as quickly as we want, but they do it. It's just a matter of reacting to, they more so react to the market, react to the competition. And when competition pushes them to evolve, they do it. But as far as modern, I think modern is the perfect word to describe it, because I wouldn't look at these as long-term, like vintage investments, right? Like there's reissues, there's remakes, there's new content, there's new figures showing up. So it's not like getting the rocket firing Boba Fett, for example, where you're going to sell it for millions of dollars. Like it's not that. So I think modern is the perfect word for it, because these are not like long-term investments, in my opinion. Like they are, to make you happy now. And if you want something that's going to make you feel, like Lael always points to, nostalgic, then these are the things that are going to do it, because you're looking at it and you're like, damn, I feel like I'm watching the movie looking at that. And you can interact with it like Lael and others do. He does the posing sessions. You can put it in any pose you want, recreate any scene you want, recreate your own scene, so you can engage with the product in a way that's just a little more fun. And that's really the simplest way to put it. But it's a lifelike piece. It's the best quality on the market, hands down, bar none. You can pose it, you can engage with it. The materials don't always last forever, but there's reissues, there's other things. We keep engaged with other topics. But nonetheless, I think these Hot Toys essentially is in a tier of their own in terms of quality, and that's why we flock to them. All of these live streams, mostly what we talk about is Hot Toys. Like we follow every announcement they make, every release, every pre-order, because they are that good. So they're worthy of being followed in that way. So that's why they've put themselves in a tier of their own with their quality, and that's why they become, if you ask a non-collector, they probably know what Hot Toys are. At this point, I think if you ask, like, not just any person on the streets of New York, but if you ask someone who followed, like, Spider-Man or Marvel or whatever, and you'd be like, yeah, I've seen Hot Toys before, I know what those are. Like, but if you ask them who's 3-0 or Asmus, they'd be like, I have no clue what you're talking about. So, so Hot Toys has become that for a reason. They're like, I see them as the Apple of collecting, like the Mac, the Apple of collecting. That's kind of what they are.
Yeah, that's a great point, Will. And before we go to Desy on that, the Apple of collecting, just want to read the super chat for Braden. Thank you for the $2.99 drop. Dante is here. Lael, Man of Hot, say why. So the only mistake you put in there, Braden, is hashtag Man of Hot, say what.
Yeah.
But come on, go ahead and thank you so much for that $2.99, Bob. That's it. Hashtag Man of Hot, say what. But listen, Desy, going to you. It brings up a good point, the Apple, the Mac of collecting, but and from someone who does a lot of art such as yourself and really is in this, what is your take just generally on this? Because certainly from an artist perspective, an appreciation compared to a lot of what we had in the past, or like Will was saying, who's 3-0, like the average person, who's collecting, who's not aware of this.
Such a great topic. I'll try not to rant for 6 hours. So starting back in the 60s when the G.I. Joe was big. No, but just to follow up what Will said really quickly, that most people know Hot Toys. So the other day, my AC broke. I had the AC repairman come over, and he starts talking to me, and I'm like, and I told him, yeah, I'm into collecting. He's like, yeah, what do you think about Hot Toys? Like, I didn't mention anything. He didn't come into this room, just at random. Right. The AC repair guy knows about Hot Toys. Like, I was like, yeah, actually, I know a little bit about him, right? So, so that was interesting. But it just the evolution, really going back to the creation of the action figure, and then all the way to the 90s, when I was really collecting action figures, and then in the mid 2000s, I stopped. I went from action figures to small statues, and I was always aware of these 6-scale figures, but to me, they were always like, oh, they're cool, but they don't look realistic. Like the clothes are like aren't right. They're like here, on a figure. And all of a sudden, Hot Toys comes along, and they start producing these colonial marines and these aliens and these predators. And I'm like, that looks pretty cool. And then right after that, then 2008 happened, and we got Iron Man and the Dark Knight, and those were top of the. I had never seen anything like that. I said to myself, this is as good as it gets.
Yes.
And that's when I went like hardcore into Hot Toys. So I do it because it looks so real. It looks like you got the actor and you miniaturized it. And since 2008, look where we are now. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah,
I mean,
they've come so far.
Yeah, like I mean, J&D. Granted, these statue companies are now starting to go way beyond even that. But like Will said, and like Lael and everyone is saying, it's the best. It's the Ferrari of like action figures, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is a great topic. 118 in here. Please go ahead and hit that like button. You are watching the Market Show live here on Saturday evening. Staying with this topic, but we're going to move to a different question here. And I'm going to go back to you, Victoria. And I put this up here because does the fact that opening Hot Toys does not, and I put that in quotes, affect the value, entice some new collectors? Example, vintage color Fett opened versus unopened equals same value. I can tell you for me, who, I got really into Star Wars and the action figures, and very personal reasons, in my family and events that happened with me back in the 70s when I was a kid, playing with the original Kenner figures and then collecting mint on card, Kenner figures and mint in box vehicles and the original 12-inch figures, and then really enjoying playing with them and having the memories, Victoria, of the enjoyment and going back in some memories in my mind. And when I was really into Black Series, I was going down this road from coming out of vintage on card where I felt almost ashamed to open any of the vintage collection or any of the mint in box. And maybe ashamed is a wrong word, or I felt like don't do that, or I really wanted to see them. But I felt like it was all about the packaging. And there was a little bit of joy missing in that. And then I saw Hot Toys and I see everybody like Lael and Will, posing these figures and whatnot, content creators such as that are doing it and looking at the secondary market saying, wow, as long as it comes with the shipper box, or it doesn't even have to come with that helps. It doesn't seem to make a difference. As a matter of fact, when it comes to Hot Toys, sometimes if it's just sealed in there and it said never opened and they don't show you a picture of it at all, it almost hurts it a little bit unless it's a reputable. You want to see someone take it out, make sure that it's in there, it's in the clamshell, all the pieces are in there. It's an interesting dynamic with Hot Toys versus, I want to call it the Hasbro way, because really it's almost like you can't open those figures, or I'll be honest with you, they sink in value like crazy. But what is your thoughts on this?
I think that is certainly a factor. Hot Toys, thankfully, they come in boxes that make it easy for you to repackage them. Obviously with Hasbro, you can do it with Black Series, but with Vintage Collection 3 3/4, that's not really something you can do. I think that is an enticement for people that want to get into Hot Toys, to say, hey, you can't go wrong with Hot Toys. They're going to keep appreciating in value a lot of the time. And it's, if you're coming at it from an investment standpoint, which some people do, then there's a lot of reason to want to purchase them. But even if you're not, you're just getting into them because we all love the toys because the toys are just so freaking awesome. Then that's kind of just a bonus if you ever decide one day that you want to sell it or part with it for whatever reason. But yeah, it's absolutely a factor. And I think the vintage color Fett that you mentioned there is a good example of that.
Yeah, no, absolutely, because the Black Series has that awesome vintage color Fett that was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, which is an awesome piece. And don't get me wrong, Victoria, I love to collect them in the package. Been doing it for years and keeping him in there. But if you open that vintage color Fett from San Diego Comic-Con, the $240 or $300, you're not going to get that for that particular figure. And trying to recapture the joy, Lael, of when you were a kid, I feel like, and that's the market for Black Series and some of those figures anyway. Some of those exclusives, if you're going to open up that that vintage, Boba Fett from the San Diego Comic-Con and the Black Series, which comes in a beautiful glossy card, that aluminum foil. It's awesome. But it's kind of like, you can't open that because it's going to lose a lot of the value. Some of the other ones, it's okay. You can open it. Hey, okay, so I'm not going to be able to sell it for the $40-$50, but I want to do that. A lot of collectors do that. But I feel like with Hot Toys, even when there's an exclusive or it's a Comic-Con exclusive, it's kind of like, yeah, you can open it. And as long as you got all the pieces, and like Victoria brings up a good point, they give you a mechanism where you can actually put it back in there and, and still have it. But that's interesting because I know for me, that's one of the things that enticed me to get into Hot Toys is the fact that I'll actually be able to play with this thing and it's not going to depreciate in value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what? Here's the thing is like, for me, I always go back to 70s, when we saw Star Wars on screen for the first time. When figures at that time, they didn't they had no idea that the IP was going to take off as much as big as it did, to the point where licensing for the figures, I mean, it was there, but they weren't even actually in production yet. You know what I mean? So you had to wait like at least almost 6 to 7 months after the film was released to get your figure. And you just had to wait, you paid for it, but then you had this card. So you kept the card, and once the figure came in, you just show them the card, and they would give you your set. I was always that person, coming, look, when you're growing up, I mean, sometimes you live, in unfortunate situations. And your imagination, you couldn't have everything that you saw, everything you wanted, every toy you wanted, every figure that you wanted. So you kind of had to recreate things, kind of create your own, and, just be as creative as you could. We live in and the thing is, it's like, when fast forward from that time to, once we got the prequels, we started collecting those particular figures, and I have never taken any of those outside the box. Like, I still have them, and they're inside the box. They're all sealed. I haven't taken any of the prequel figures outside of the box. You know what I mean? Like, they're still there. But now with Hot Toys, I think it's one of those situations where it's like, you know what? It's like heroin, bro. You can't, you cannot. If it's right there, if it's right in front of you to an addict, if it's there, you're fighting the feeling. You know what I mean? Like, you have to, it's opening that package, smelling that fresh, brand new figure once you get it outside the box, posing it up, creating a scene, recreating, and then on top of that, we already know that what happens is these figures, and depending on the figure, limited quantity, you can't find it anymore. So it makes it easier, especially if it's hot, if you want to. If you're that person who wants to sell your figures, you can sell it off and make money to purchase another. So the value is going to always be there, regardless if you open it or not. It's going to be there. You may not get, sometimes in most cases, you may not get what you spent for it. In most cases, you may get more than what you spent for the figure. You know what I mean? I don't sell, so I don't really, you know what I mean? I've never really, I've sold one figure, and that was only because I had 2 of the same figure and I didn't need it anymore. You know what I mean? So I sold that one off. But other than that, every other figure that I have, I don't sell them. I haven't sold them. I keep them, basically in good condition. And it's just mainly for me. I think it's just more personal to me. So I don't really worry about, selling off the figures. But if I did, I know I keep them in pristine condition that I can actually sell them off. Still have the shipper box, the clamshell. I still actually have the art box. I keep all that, so I'm not one to destroy them. If you've seen, if you see all these boxes over here, like right now, like everything that's sitting there, every box, it's like sometimes my girl Latoya T walks down and she hides her face when she looks at all the boxes, because it's like there's shipper boxes pretty much stacked in certain spaces, but I keep them. And it's not that I keep them just because, okay, I can eventually sell them off. No, if I move, I have a place to put them. All my accessories are in my boxes, stuff like that. So I don't look at it from that standpoint. But I will say that the value is always there, because we're talking Hot Toys. We're talking, all the way down to the earlier figures that were, released when, some of the, earlier Clone Wars figures, like some of the G.I. Joe figures that were actually released back in the day, the one-offs, stuff like that. Those figures are still valued. Like literally, they are still valued, and it costs a lot. Whether you've taken look, whenever a figure goes up pre-order, it sells like that. If it's if it's pre-owned, it sells like that. Like literally, you wouldn't think it does, but it does, and it's because there's still value to it. You know what I mean? So, Will, that Pennywise, you already know that.
Oh, yeah, man. Can't wait for the second one.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I just think that it's because the quality is so damn good. You know what I mean? It is so good that it, literally it's going to sell. Like you're going to be able to actually sell it. Someone's going to want to pick it up. Sometimes I've gotten people pretty much that have looked at my collection during a live show and have inboxed me and said, "How much do you want for this figure?" And I'm like, I'm not selling it.
Nah.
And then sometimes they'll be like, no, really, how much you want for it? I'm like, no, I'm not selling it. They say, okay, but really, how much you want for it? I'm like, I'm not selling it. You know what I mean? But yeah, like it's, you know what I mean? But I mean, it just speaks to the quality and the, the craftsmanship that they actually put into creating, these figures. Literally, and I told you this, Aries, I have literally never, I have never sat in my chair for an hour and watched a figure spin around like I did Friday night looking at that golden armor Wonder Woman. Literally. I sat in my chair.
With Hot Toys, don't you?
Yeah,
versus all the other action figures that we're
exactly.
talking about generically in the market. Not something
You just sit there and you marvel over it. Like literally, it's the same thing. Like even when it was so much pushback on that Rey when Rey was basically released, the Rey from Rise of Skywalker. People were like, the head sculpt. Oh man, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, okay, we're looking at production photos. When you get it in hand, it's going to be different, but you just have to wait. Man, I got that figure in and I sat it down and I was like, Will's right.
About what? Rey?
You were like, because you were talking about Rey and Kylo, and it was like, Will was.
Well, you knew I was getting him anyway.
Yeah, right. But it was phenomenal just looking at it. Like it's like, yo, you can't. It's. I don't know. I can't really describe the feeling. I can't describe the feeling of what it means. Like once you get these figures, in hand. To the point where it is an addiction. Like people don't want to really say it is, but it's a healthy addiction because it helps us to expand on our creativity, on our imagination, and even actually it helps like us who are content creators, even with Desy being like basically he's a diorama creator. I can only imagine what goes on in his head. I can imagine him like literally. I can imagine him like this, like sleep. And he'd be like, wait, I got an idea. At like 4 o'clock in the morning, he's like, yo, and just got to run downstairs and do it. I can only imagine that, bro.
Yeah,
literally.
You know it.
No, great points there, Lael. And real quick, let's go over it before we go to Will. Let's look at this super chat from Alexandros, $5. Thank you so much, Alexandros. Collecting to me in a way to re-experience a feeling that I once had. So yes, I will open everything. I don't collect boxes. Yes, certainly to appreciate the art, Will. And thank you so much for that $5 super chat, Alexandros. But most appreciate it. And Will, going to you on this subject, for me, I mean, Hot Toys brings a balance from everything that I collect. And Victoria, maybe you could chime on this again later too. I like collecting things in a package because that means something to me. But I feel like Hot Toys has brought me balance because I feel like I am allowed to open up these. So like, you could kind of go ahead and get 2 Black Series figures or get 2 vintage. But the purpose of, for me, the vintage collection is I want to kind of keep it in the card. My daughter has a pretty good vintage collection. She wants to keep it mint on the card, and we would like to open them. It's almost like you got to get 2 of them or try and buy them loose. You could do that a lot with a lot of the vintage ones. So you really need to do that with that. But I felt like there wasn't something as a collector for years at Hot Toys. I was like, wait a minute. I was actually shocked, Will, when I learned that you could go ahead and pose these Hot Toys. I'm like, they're so expensive and they're this well done. and you could go ahead and open it. So for me, it brought balance. I'm like, I get to have the best of both worlds. I get to have my stuff mint, and I get to get hot toys, and I'm not going to lose value.
Yeah, so you're a gray Jedi at this point. So, and by the way, I'll send my offer over to Lael for Jyn Erso any day now. So
it's never going to happen.
I'll send him over.
That's never going to happen.
He's willing to sell
That's
everything. Clearly,
never going to happen. Never
I know,
over
bro.
my dead body, and even
I
never.
can see Lael if the house was burning down. He'd be laying there just holding Jyn Erso.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm like this on my collection if the house is burning down.
Yeah, I know. You're like, whoa. Yeah. Just put like just have a fire extinguisher and get it all out. But yeah. So what I would say about this one is, Hot Toys are definitely a unique breed, just because Aries, like if you're looking at the sales of figures, if it's new in box, that it gives you a little bit of boost, but it's so negligible that it's really not enough to really care. The only one you have to be careful about with posing, and if you're going to resell it, is skin tight suit figures. So Spider-Man, or say even a figure like Venom, where it tends to peel. Right? If you've been posing it a lot and working a lot, it could happen. So people are probably going to ask you about that, right? So at least the more thorough buyers. Or for example, the Black Panther from his solo film or from Civil War. Either or. If you've been posing him a lot, you might get some creasing, right? So if you're going to go resell that figure, people are probably going to, inquire about that. But short of that, I mean, and one thing too, I'm actually usually more concerned about brand new in box if it hasn't been inspected, because I don't know what I'm getting. Like the figure could have been screwed up from the beginning, especially if it has pleather material. If it has pleather material and it hasn't been provided the opportunity to be aired out, that's usually a problem. And these are such good, like Lael said, these are such good art pieces, the Hot Toys, that it's almost a shame to keep them in the box, With the smaller scale figures, the cardboard and stuff like that, they're cool looking figures and it's cool to keep them in the packaging, but it doesn't feel as much of like a crime to keep a figure, such an amazing piece in the box like that, right? That'd be like me buying this Balder from Prime 1 and leaving it in the box, right? Like it's such a shame. It's meant to be displayed. It's meant to be enjoyed. So if you're like taking that away from yourself and from other people who are looking at your collection, that's a shame to me. But to each their own. If you want to collect them Hot Toys and keep them in the box, go for it. But to me, it just seems kind of, counterintuitive or counterproductive to buying them in the first place. But because they're meant to be enjoyed, and you can't really enjoy them while they're sitting in a box. But with other figures, you can, because you can see through it, right? You can see the figure through the packaging. Hot Toys, you don't have that luxury. But it's very interesting. Hot Toys are a unique breed in every way, shape, and form, and they maintain their value pretty well. Of course, there's First Order Stormtroopers, there's Chitauri, there's other figures that drop in value, but for the most part, Hot Toys maintain their value pretty well. So even if you open them, and as long as you didn't destroy it, and you keep the packaging, then you're good. Don't throw away, like one idea, by the way, Lael, and it was funny, I never thought of this. It's so simple. Lane actually, someone threw out this idea. I don't know if it was Lane or someone in the gaming chat we did. Like with your brown shippers, breaking them down. I was like, I never once thought of that. I was like, I never once thought of just like breaking down the brown shipper. I have all the brown shippers in my attic, but you could just cut them up and put them in the attic and then retape them again if you ever want to sell them.
You know what's funny, Will, that you brought that up? I'm sorry, Leo.
I never thought of that.
My wife brought this up to me during the holidays when we were away. She's like, why don't you just go ahead and take a box cutter and just, break the box down nicely. And that way you could store them all like this.
Right.
Instead of taking, my other room where it's all just boxes.
And when someone said that, I was like, oh shit. I was like, I never thought of that.
But go ahead.
That would save me so much space. But that's all. Yeah, I would say they're just unique. Their Hot Toys are unique. They're actually better if you display them. I think they're more valuable to me because I know what I'm getting. I can see it.
I just the reason why I don't break down the shipper is because I'm so meticulous about the art box. Like I don't like the art box scratched by any means, and I'm just so scared. Even if I put the plastic over top of it, I just hate it. It's for some reason I want that, because I love the art box. I love the way it actually looks. I love the differences that we get, not so much from Star Wars, because you're going to get the same art box from them. It's just with the figure on the front of it. But with most figures, you get different art boxes, and you can kind of like get a feel for what you're getting inside the box. Even though it might be actually the prototype, it won't look the same. It's still something about the art box. But no, it's right. Like you can break it down and just have it, stored. And the only thing is, it's like I got to keep tabs on that so I know which one is which. But in most cases, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I mean, it is definitely good ideas. But I'm in the basement, so I don't really, I don't really worry about it too much. I got space to kind of play around with it for now.
for now.
But you're right. The art boxes take up a lot of space. The shippers you
they
can
do.
break down, but the art boxes, I have a closet full of them. Yeah.
Yes.
Because you can't put those in the attic, because if you keep the accessories in there, which I do, some people put them in boxes, but if you keep the accessories in the art boxes, you don't want to put them in the attic where it's hot or cold. Like so.
Well, and I display my art boxes. Will
okay.
Yes, I mean I love them. That takes up so much room. But listen, before we go to Desy, just want to welcome everybody who's in here watching the Market Show live. Thank you so very much. 142, hit the like button now. Thank you so much. But listen, and is it possible a little bit later in the show, will we get an interruption from the Hot Toys Wizard? I don't know. I haven't been able to talk to the Hot Toys Wizard within the last 24 hours. I don't know what he or she or it is doing, but you have to wonder if we're going to get an interruption a little bit later in the show. But listen, Desy, before we go to you, real quick, Victoria, I just wanted to get your take on the, for me, the balance of being able to have stuff in the package, but then with Hot Toys, it's like, it's okay, take it out of the package. Did you ever feel that way, or do you know where I'm coming from with that? Is it balance for you?
It's a little bit of a balance. With the vintage collection, I'm one of those people that buys one to keep in the package, one to open up. And the vintage collection is at a level that for the last year that it's never been at before. They're using the photoreal face tech printing, the articulation systems, the likenesses, the details. Just it's somewhere where it's never been over the 40+ year history of the line. So you kind of have to do that. It's at a point where you don't want to buy something like the recent Ahsoka Tano or the Maul from Mandalore and not open those because they're just so amazing.
Wow, so it's enticing you to open, Victor. You're actually, did you say you were buying two to open one?
Yes, I buy the full cases from like Entertainment Earth, and usually they'll have like two, and then I'll open one.
Wow, that's great a great perspective of the way you have to do it, and they have been. I mean, they've been killing it with their photoreal technology, and I've been noticing that it's getting real interesting. Desy, I'm sure you're noticing that too. From an artist perspective, please feel free to go ahead and chime in on that as well. But as far as and the whole subject here that we've been talking about, opening versus not opening, and opening Hot Toys doesn't seem to affect the value.
Yeah, you guys said it best, right? Hot Toys are very unique. It is a different game. You don't buy it's like buying like a painting and bringing it home and just keeping it wrapped up and putting it in a closet. It's like, yeah, you've got the value there, I guess, but like that's not part of the game, right? Like Hot Toys, you bring it, you open it up, you display it, and that shouldn't affect the value. And if it does, it's very minimal. Now, I still really love the art boxes. Maybe it's because my history of being involved in like an art department, right? Like somebody puts time and work into that, and these boxes from Hot Toys they're pretty good. So I don't display them. I don't have the space, but I do keep them. And I know there's always been an argument from the value perspective too. It's like, you know what? I bought this. I'm not planning on selling it, right? That's not why I bought it, so I'm going to get rid of the box, right? If you do it because you don't have the space, not everyone does. Some people are living in small apartments, I get it. But if you have an opportunity to keep that box, I always like to tell people, you never know if you're going to have to get rid of something later on for whatever reason, no matter what your status is now. So if you ever have to do that, it's nice to be able to say, hey, this maintained a lot of value just because I kept that box. So I look at it from that perspective too. But yeah, just in general, like you've got to open this stuff, and the fact that you can, and it still maintains a lot of the value, that's important to me. That's great. And the last thing you were saying too about the art, I mean, and what I love about Hot Toys is that you still have sculptors hand sculpting these portraits.
Yeah.
Right. It's not a scan, to my knowledge, but it's not a scan, which is fine too. I know Hasbro does a lot of the realistic 3D scanning, but this is the fact that they're doing it and sculpting it by hand, and it comes out better than any kind of 3D scanned toy. And I know a lot of it is not because of the sculpt, but it's because of the paint that Hot Toys does. I get that. Still, like, it's so impressive to me. Just that level of attention to detail on that original prototype is amazing. You can't beat it.
Yeah, and just echoing what you're saying there, I'm putting up my good friend Dante for the Man of Hot Collectibles comments here. I repeat, do not dump your art boxes or brown shippers. simply because if you're selling it, you can definitely get more money for it. No, he's absolutely right. And folks, Lael was bringing that up
Mm-hmm.
as well, that
Mm-hmm.
he's even a little, skeptical of breaking the brown shippers down. And Desy, you were bringing up this point as well. And I think it's good, because a lot of collectors listen to us channel creators in here. And yes, while we're saying it's okay to open the hot toys, and obviously we do, you can see from everybody in here, we're very, very meticulous in how we do it. We're very careful, with the figures. We make sure that we keep the brown shippers, make sure that you keep the art boxes, whether you're going to display them like I do or stow them away. Very, very, very important. And it's not that we buy these to sell these. And we're going to get into this topic a little bit later. But you do sometimes have to a phrase that I go by: protect your investment.
Yeah.
And you need to protect your investment because you never know.
Mm-hmm.
If you might need to sell something, and whether it's for joy or whether it's for another reason, very, very important to understand that. Victoria, I want to go back to you with this because you brought up something real interesting here, and I want to get everybody's take. Black Series, Hasbro is using this photoreal technology, and they're looking damn good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're looking really, really good, these figures.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible, Victoria, with the 12-inch line? Because Hasbro's got to be looking at what Hot Toys is doing and what kind of market they have and how Disney's all on them and some of these other third parties. Could they compete with Hot Toys in the future? Are they actually working on something now? How would that photoreal technology actually look on a 12-inch figure? Do they have the technology to compete, like Desy was saying, with that hand painted? Do they not? Where do you think Hasbro is going to be with that in 10 years?
Specifically to the 6 scale, on that one, I say no. And the reason for that is that Hasbro did have the 12-inch 6 scale license for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was back in the early to mid 2000s. They sub-licensed it out to Sideshow, who then I think somehow got it over to Hot Toys, and now they share it. I think we call that a slicense, where they'll kind of divide it up. I don't know exactly how it works in terms of how Lucasfilm approves the behind the scenes portion of that, but could they? I think they could if they wanted to do something that maybe isn't Hot Toys level. If they threw everything they had in it. You got to remember, they're still a global mass merchandising company. Their goal is to sell as much as they can and create it for as little as they absolutely have to pay to manufacture it. I think they could do something that maybe wouldn't compete, but they could do something that is far beyond what they've ever done before. But I don't, for the reasons with the licensing, I don't see that actually happening.
Yeah, and they do. And real quick, staying with you, Victoria, I think they did try, and I'm forgetting what it is because I was actually going to buy them, and I haven't yet. They went into this Black Series, I want to say Deluxe. I think it was an 1/8-inch line. Didn't they do a Luke Bespin and a Vader? What is that called again? Hyperreal. So would they do something like that where, okay, we're going to sell less of these, but we're going to sell it for, we're going to get more of we're going to have more of a markup on them to make it? Or is it still, I think that you're right on, even something specialized like that, they're probably going to want to mass sell it, right? Even if they went that route.
Mm-hmm. Right. And the hyperreal figures didn't do very well for them at all.
No,
so
they didn't.
They kind of explored that territory. They didn't do so hot. So
and
I think they'd be hesitant.
Yeah. Desy, let me go to you before I get to Lael, and then to Will, just from an artist's perspective on that. Do you agree with Victoria? I agree. I think that they're more into mass sales. I know we've been talking a lot about Hot Toys, and obviously they made a ton of the Beskar. They make a ton of certain Marvel figures, but for the most part, they don't actually make, at least right now, I guess maybe until they're actually able to own one of their own, manufacturing factories. But what is your take on that?
1000% agree. They could absolutely probably be on the same level as Hot Toys and even outdo them. That's not their game, though. I mean, we're talking about Hasbro. Let's talk about something they own, Transformers. Don't even think about the third-party companies doing masterpiece lines. Think about 3-0 doing this awesome die-cast piece that they have the license, if I'm not mistaken, for these Transformers, and Hasbro's therefore giving it to them. This isn't their game, right? Like you're saying, they're going to focus on mass-produced pieces. They're going to focus on toys, if you will. That yes, adult toy collectors will buy, but they're still trying their darndest to appeal to the younger crowd, even if the younger crowd is moving away from toys. So that Hot Toys level production is not their game. They're not looking to produce 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, or even 20,000 pieces per line. No way.
Well, and before we go to Lael and Will, I want to acknowledge some other people in here. PR Rockzilla, P Rockzilla in the house, and he was in the panel last week. Looking forward to having P Rock back in here soon. And look who's in the house tonight. MRC Collection Ventures. Look, dude, I still appreciate you letting me use one of your video clips. I think it was the Ray from last year back in April and May. So good to have MRC Collection Ventures in the house. If you haven't subscribed to him, go subscribe to him for sure. Lael, let's go to you on this. I think Hasbro is more interested in that high volume sale. Is Hot Toys ever going to be interested in going that route?
No.
Go ahead.
No, I don't think so at all. Hasbro can get away with it because, like I said, I mean, they are. You got to. Here's the thing: is like it's crazy. Like even in the smaller scale, they're still even judging their product against Hot Toys because it extremely is popular. You know, everybody wants that photorealism. They want the figure to look a certain way. I think that if Hot Toys did something like that, literally, the value would not be there as much. Like we wouldn't be having these discussions about, because it's like you're practically like it's in mass production on something like that. I even think it would even take the figures longer to release. You know what I mean? Because that's a lot that you're putting into it. But no, I don't think that they would, and honestly, I don't think they should. I really don't. I mean, with smaller scales, definitely, especially if it's Black Series. That's their niche. That's their niche, and they do well with that because there's a lot of people who do collect Black Series that are extremely interested in it. I used to, but once I got into the Hot Toys game, it was just like, okay, my money has to be divided somewhere, and Hot Toys just kind of took over. Like it really took over everything. So, I still have a few on Black Series, but I sold off a lot of them. A lot of them that couldn't be found. Put it that way, and there's even value in that, but that was only basically to cater to my Hot Toys fetish, you know what I mean? But no, I don't think that Hot Toys should. I don't think it's something that they should tap into. I think that they're doing it the right way because, like I said, I mean, I have this Raiders of the Lost Ark mentality where I like to basically go around and search for pieces that can't be found, or you know what I mean?
Me too, brother.
Exactly. I love that. And if they did it in mass production, then that takes the fun away from even doing that for me. You know what I mean? It really, really does. So I really don't think they should. And I think there's a look. We've seen with certain figures that the shelf life is really big. Like it's out there. Like some of these figures that some companies can't even give away. They're beautiful figures, but they just can't give away because the interest isn't there. Or especially if there was a reissue on some figures, there are reissues. Like I just saw now there's a company today that marked down the battle damage Iron Man to like 256, like literally right now. And I'm like, okay, all right. Well, it's not saying that they can't get rid of it, but they do see the simple fact that, okay, it might be occupying a lot of shelf space, and they want to move these things. You know what I mean? Sideshow is still sitting on a lot of figures that pretty much they have. What was that? We've been talking about that on Will. What was it? The Mark. It was the Infinity Board. Was it the Mark?
Mark 50.
The Mark 50, right? So they're sitting on that, and I know they were pissed when Hot Toys decided to introduce the Mark 50 Strange version. Like, wait a minute, we can't even get rid of this one.
We can't even get rid of all these.
I mean? So I mean, that's the thing. Like when we saw with the prequels, with the First Order Troopers, they sat for a long time, and some of them are still there. You know what I mean? So I don't think that Hot Toys really has to do it. I don't think that that's something that they have to dive into. Leave it to Black Series, because Black Series does well with mass production. They do. They really do well. So and that's their wheelhouse, and I think they should keep that. And because the figures are extremely impressive, like literally impressive. Like, so I mean, it's a win-win either way. Getting better and better. It's just that these guys, man,
it's like an extra little. No, you bring up some great points, and it's like an extra little. But Will, before we get to you, and the final thought on that part of this, I will ask everybody in there: are we going to? Am I going to get a phone call at least from the? Am I going to get a text from the Hot Toys Wizard? Is he going to interrupt the show? Will, I don't know. Is he or she or it going to do that? But listen, but besides that, Will, it does take 12 days. I think I saw from one of the Hot Toys, documentaries or what the things they have on YouTube for them to just finish, one part of the figure, which is the head sculpt. I don't think I could ever see these going into a super mass production like Hasbro does.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And that's the tricky part, because if you would describe this as high-end collecting, if this is high-end collecting and more people start to get into it, what does Hot Toys do? Because they're selling more, but they're having to produce more, and that could ultimately mean quality goes down. So you never know. But I don't know. I mean, I would say that, I don't see them going that route. I'm with pretty much the consensus here that I think it makes sense for what Hasbro does with Black Series or Marvel Legends or things like that, right? Because you can produce a ton of them, sell in a lot of volume. They're cheap. Relatively, like you compared to Hot Toys and statues, so you can sell a lot of them. The quality's good. It doesn't have to be great. Hot Toys does have to be great, because for the price they're charging, you have to, be worth that price for admission, right? If I'm paying $300, $400 for a figure, it needs to be great. So, and that's, I think, the quality people expect, and the standard Hot Toys is set for themselves. So I think as long as Howard Chan is in charge, I don't think Hot Toys is going to change anything. I think we never really know how they're doing financially, but they don't seem to be struggling, from all indications that we have. And, as long as the Iron Man and then the Troopers that are easy to make for them are selling, and Spider-Man, they're going to keep making those too. So, in the Star Wars characters, we're getting a lot of those, but some of the ones like we want, like Mace and Grievous, those probably take a little more R&D, and Hot Toys is like, well, we could make another Mustard Trooper and make a lot more money. So, they'll throw us a bone every now and then. But to the question, I don't see Hot Toys doing that. I think they know their market, which is us, and our market doesn't really want lower quality, more production. We want that. We want to maintain that top tier elite quality, and that's why we buy them, to display them, because we love looking at them, and then how great of eye catchers they are. So I would say they bring you great joy because of how great the product is, and that goes for the statue companies and Hot Toys that are producing elite stuff.
Well, I'm going to go into the thank you, Will. Totally agree with that. And we're going to go to the next topic, which is the last topic on this before we spill more coffee. But listen, how many of you need a refill? Because Grogu needs one. Tell me what table you're at. Let's go. Desy, I'm going to start this next. We're going to close this. This has been a great discussion, and I can't wait to get to some of the other topics in here today. But let me get to the last, subtopic on this. And I want to start this one off with you, and I'm going to pull this up onto the screen. And I put this up, and I was thinking last night, going into this, is so far I love the flow. Rarity versus scarcity versus exclusivity. Example, Hot Toys reissues. Did they say never again? Hasbro Kenner, example, 12 back vinyl Cape Jawa. Does it say exclusive or limited edition? So I want to bring this up because we were talking about wanting to make sure, Man of Hot Collectibles mentioned, and so did Lael, make sure you take care of those brown shipper boxes, the all the pieces, the art boxes. But I could tell you right now, with the vinyl Cape Jawa, nowhere on that card does it say limited edition, limited production, never to come out again. But people go ahead and spend thousands and now tens of thousands of dollars on there and hunt that figure down. Believe me, baby, I hunted. My wife, remember, I hunted, took a big ride to go get the one that I had. But listen, um, I think sometimes the reason why I suggested before, you want to go ahead and echoing what you all were saying to keep the art boxes, is because if in case you ever have to get out of it, you can and get your money back. But I feel that some collectors go into this like they're, investing in Bitcoin, or, that they're and not necessarily, that this is a solid lock. Because you see right now, and Victoria will get to you on this, they're coming out with the retro collection Hasbro. They have the Kenner logo on there. They if they wanted to come out with that 12 back vinyl Cape Jawa as a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, if they wanted to do that, even if they wanted to make it exactly the same, there's no reason why they can't. They can go ahead and do it. And with Hot Toys, all the legal jargon that's in there, it's exclusive. Okay, this is a con exclusive. Well, is it exclusive to Sideshow, or is it exclusive to the con? Is it exclusive that if I remove the base, it's not exclusive anymore, and I can do this? I mean, there's a lot of little stuff in there, and I think we have to be careful because Hot Toys is called Hot Toys, and they don't necessarily, unless they put it in there, say it's limited. So I think we got to be mindful of that. We say it's probably never going to come out with that Hoth and Chewbacca from A New Hope, but never say never. They actually can if they wanted to. Go.
Me, right, Ers?
Yep.
So exclusivity is extremely, important to a certain degree. X-Force issue number 1 still sealed. Yeah. Not that important anymore, right? We got like 5 of them. But when it comes to toys, right, it is important, right? There is still the law of supply and demand. Everybody knows it. So it's important. But when you're talking about reissues, right, and this might rub some people the wrong way. My thing is, look, it's not about reissues. Even if you reissue the same figure, but it's in a different box, look at the history of toy collecting. Rebranding, recarded, if you will. All those versions are still valuable because there is something different. It's when you produce and reissue the exact same thing with the exact same box, with the exact same copyright. I mean, even a letter on the back of the box, if you change it, just the artwork, that's enough to say there's a variation of it, right? But if you keep reissuing the same thing, then you're watering it down because you're producing the same thing over and over, and there's more of them. But as long as you put the figure out maybe with a different accessory, or you just simply change the packaging, that's a different version of it. That's a different product. A collector will want the original and the new one, just like when I sold my original plastic Iron Man, right, before they went die cast. Then I put them up on eBay, and people started bidding on them immediately. And I went back in. I was like, did I make sure to put plastic on? And some people contacted me, and I was like, hey, you're bidding on plastics, and they were like, yeah, no, I am an Iron Man Hot Toys collector. I want the original model number. I want all of them. And I was like, okay, cool, keep bidding, man. So it's important that reissue. It's not about the reissues. It's just as long as you change something, you're good. And even if they reissue the exact same thing, as long as there's not too many, like, the value stays there. And I think that's important to just keep in mind. Same thing with the carton shippers, right? A lot of people are like, why would you want to keep that? That's ridiculous. It's like, I get it. I hear you. But remember the history of toy collecting. How much would people give for an empty carton of an original, like, 70s, 77, well, not 77, but like 79, 80 Star Wars, like, shipment from Kenner, like, just an empty carton like that itself is worth so much, right? Because it's a part of the piece. So,
well, listen, before we go to Lael at Will, maybe this is the interruption from the Hot Toys wizard we've been looking for. Is it possible? No, it's just Dante.
It's just Dante.
All right, I'm out. Bye, guys. How you doing, everyone?
Like and subscribe, man.
What's going on, brother?
How you doing, guys? Lael, Will, Desy, Victoria, Aries, you guys watching at home. How you doing tonight?
How you doing?
Good, man. Good to see you, Dante.
Good.
Doing
I
so-
was listening to Lael when he labels his accessories. Do you label it in Spanish in the forbidden language?
He should if he's not.
If that'd be too much time for me, bro.
Yeah.
That'd be too
Right.
much time, man. Like straight
you'll
up.
have your Google Translator next to you all the
Yeah,
time.
just- yeah,
Dante,
nah.
you're my translator, so I just message you.
Yeah, I'll do that. And listen, you guys. I know you guys were talking about a bunch of stuff, but brown shippers, there's an easy fix for it. Like if you don't want to, like, let's say you drop you store or you display the boxes, the art boxes. What you can do is just open them, fold it, put it behind any cabinet or anything like that.
Mhm.
You could just put it like that. The
Yeah.
Spanish people are so smart, man. We do so much.
I gotta break all mine down. I gotta break all my brown shippers down.
I can do a bet out of it.
And welcome to everybody in here, flashing everyone in here. Latoya is in the house. Good to have Latoya in here.
Mhm.
And Doc is in the house. And About Future. And Rob's Reviews is in the house as well. Listen, everybody, it is the Market Show Live. It is Saturday night. Come on. And I'm serving it all up. And you've all been telling me what table you're at. Listen, here it comes. I've got the whole pot here, baby. I've got the coffee for you. I've got plenty of spotchka. Come on. And I got the wizard juice going tonight. You do have to wonder if the wizard is going to show up tonight, or at least, give me, send me a text or something. And you have to wonder who the wizard is going to show up as, if he or she shows up.
They call him the Wizard.
Darn wizard. Come on. Come on. Dante, listen, before I go ahead and go to the rest of the platter here, is there anything else you wanted to say on, so if you've been hearing some of the topics here? Right now we're talking about I think it's a very interesting dynamic, because I think we buy some of these toys and we think in our mind, oh, it's going to be worth so much. Here's the thing. We talked a lot about, here's an example, the heavy infantry Mandalorian. And it doesn't appear that they're going to reissue that. If they're going to come out with that, they'll come out with a different version so that other collectors can get a chance. But collectors like me that have it, they come out with it again. I'm not going to buy it again. But if they come out with a slightly different version, I'll buy it again. But just like that Attack of the Clones Yoda, and I'm not saying the heavy infantry Mandalorian Dante is on the level of Yoda, but there's no reason, there's no guarantee, is what I'm saying, investment-wise, that they just won't straight reissue that. So I think we got to keep that in mind with some of these collectibles.
Yeah, and I think Hatos is learning the lesson. I don't know if you noticed, but they've been doing something a bit different. Yes, they have plain reissues, but now they're adding 2.0s. Now they're adding an extra accessory, an extra hand, an extra weapon, an extra figure, like the Nightmare and the Black Suit Superman, right? They just added an extra figure, so it's a new 2-pack. Is from the Justice League Snyder Cuts edition. So I don't mind if they do that. I kind of feel for the collectors who get the original figure and it becomes a grail over time, and then Hot Toys decide to reissue the same thing. Some people are okay with that. Some people, they don't like that. Some people, who missed the chance to get that figure, is good, right? You can get it. But, I think at this point, as long as he doesn't say limited edition, anything is possible. But Han and Chewie. Those are the ones that we always have the same issue. Is hopefully eventually it's gonna happen, but other lines, it feels like it's just got stuck. They don't do anything new. Back to the Future they did, right, with Marty McFly, but it wasn't a reissue. It was 2.0, because they add the Einstein, right? They add the little dog there. So those type of things I think is important to do for Hot Toys. Instead of just doing a straight reissue, just do a 2.0, add something different. Now, we mentioned this many times,
Yep. Let's go to Victoria here real quick, and then we're going to go to Lael and Will. This is very interesting, and I think Dante brings up some good points. Desy brought up, some good points, that it maintains its value. And you see that a lot of times, Victoria, in the Black Series and the Vintage Collection, they could come out with the same figure, but if the package is different, it still retains its value. But and the other thing to discuss with this too is you got to be real careful. I feel like it's great to feel that you have good value, but there's no guarantee it can't come out again unless it's kind of labeled limited edition, that whole jazz. But what's your take?
Right, like you were saying, the retro collection, those are the vintage figures being brought back. There are differences because Kenner or Hasbro lost the molds for those vintage figures. They couldn't use the same molds to pump them out. If you put one side by side, retro collection to Kenner, the dimensions are a little bit different.
It's slightly different. Yep.
Slightly different, and also it hasn't really affected the value of the carded Kenner figures. But what I've observed over since they started doing retro is that the loose figures have come down in price of those same releases, because now you don't need to go on eBay and find an old one. You can just get a Hasbro, and for many people, that's a suitable replacement.
Yeah, that's where I saw it affected it too. And I didn't think it would. I think what affects the vintage carded ones is the fakes out there. And we all know, I'm not going to bring this whole thing. Maybe Toy Tony and that whole, there's people who do a great job that could make these look so real. And there's very, very specific tricks that just can't be duplicated. I even think with the highest technology right now, you really couldn't duplicate. It's so hard to duplicate that old machinery and glue and adhesives that they used, and it's a little bit crazy. But yeah, no, and I think Hasbro did a good job making sure that the back of the card, that there's very specific differences. Like you said, the molds are different. They have different stuff on the bottom of the feet and throughout the sides of the legs and whatnot. But it did affect the loose market, which was interesting. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, for sure. Cobra's Collection puts in with a $5 drop. Aries, spill the coffee. Come on. Love the panel and love seeing Victoria on here. Keep up the great shows. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate that $5 drop. Cobra's Collection. Lael, I want to go to you with this next. Your thoughts on when people collect these for value. I know it feels good. But do you think we have to be careful of that? I feel like there's no guarantees in anything in life, right? I've been around long enough to know that. But I feel like with some of these toys, there's really no guarantee.
No, it's not. Like we've been talking about, the infamous reissues of certain figures, which I don't have a problem with, because if I missed out on certain pieces, I have a chance to go back and grab them. You know what I mean? Like, Will, we've been talking about that Mark 85. That was a bless. I mean, the Mark 5.
The Mark 5, yeah.
The Mark 5 was
we wanted that.
Blessing, because I had been hunting that thing down for the longest time, and I was like, I just don't want to pay that price. So when I saw that reissue, I was like, yes, okay, I'll take that. I'm good. To the point where who talked us into getting the suit up version? Somebody
we talked each other into
We did talk each other, yeah. To the point where we talked each other.
I haven't got it yet, but I know you did.
Yeah, so we talked each other into that. But yeah, I think it's one of those situations where, I mean, you can't, like, you know what? The only thing, like, literally that you could put your stock in when it comes to something like that is a pair of Yeezys. Like, a pair of Kanye sneakers, because, like, seriously, he puts them on in such limited quantity that when he releases those shoes, automatically goes off a raffle. Like, literally, you got to put a raffle in to get them. Like, so that's just the way it is. Like, that's something that you can look at it and be like, you know what, that's an investment. I'm not saying that Hot Toys figures aren't. I'm not saying that you shouldn't look at it from that perspective, but you got to be very careful at what you choose, because there are limits. Like, there are limits. Now, I happen to have this beautiful limited quantity Jenna or so that, unless we see this figure, or if they basically say that we're going to see a flashback scene of her in Endor, or if they decide to give her her own show, I'm great. I'm sitting in a good position right now with that figure. I kind of love it. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, even if they decided to, but see, for me, even if they decided to do a reissue, it's not going to matter because I'm not really into it to sell figures. I just love it. I love the nostalgia. I have mine. I'm just happy with it. But yeah, I think it's really dangerous to go out here and pay like, I've seen people pay like $1,200 for, a figure that maybe a month or 2 months later got a re-release. And it's like,
Yep.
like why?
Yeah.
Like
look at all
why
the
would
Venom
you,
people too.
Yeah, like straight up, like Venom right now is going for like, I've seen Venom right now like for 800, or 900, and then they basically found, and then we know now that we're getting another one.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you got to be careful on that.
And he's
Like,
in stock
or
again.
unless you have people who just choose that they just don't want to wait. Like they can't wait. They want it now. And it's like, you want it now, you can't wait, but you're going to you're going to put it in your shelf, and then you're going to move on to another figure that you want. So why not wait? You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's really tough. Like I see that, and the thing is just like, I don't frown on people who do buy and sell, because that's what they're in it for. That's the market they're in it for. So that's fine, to each their own. But I just think that it is a dangerous situation that you got to kind of watch it, because you don't want to cash yourself out.
Yeah.
And at the same time, like, especially if you stay in the game and you see that there's going to be releases and you can possibly get it again. I mean, yeah, I'd probably chill a bit and just wait it out, instead of paying, because I'm just not like, we were talking about Will the other day, what was it, the Civil War Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
How much that is going for right now. And I'm like, yo, as much as I want that figure, I'm not paying those prices. I'm happy to get the Scarlet Witch that we're getting from the show, and I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? I don't need to go back and get that figure anymore. But some people still are hunting that, and it is a valued figure. Like, when we talk Star Wars, we have the Bespin Luke 2-pack. And that's really that's a sought out figure that people really want, that because we thought we were going to get a reissue on that figure, and that time has come and gone. Like we're not getting that, I guess. You know what I mean? We don't know.
But we're not going to get that DX07 for sure.
No, exactly. So I mean, that's again, it's, I guess it, what it stands to, like, you got to pick your battles, like, what I mean, pick and choose. No way, look and see the figure that for a fact, okay, this was a one-off. Maybe it's something I can invest in, because we're probably not going to see it again. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's tough like that, and that's why I'm so glad I'm not in that space, because that's tough.
Yeah, it's real tough. Yeah, go ahead.
So I said something just to piggyback what Lael says. Actually, that's a very good point. And I agree. Like, you guys need to be careful. Like, whoever, if you collecting for collecting is fine. If you collecting just for like Lael said, buy and sell, then I agree. You need to be careful, because you eventually gonna run out of money. And if you don't choose wisely, like which figures you think is gonna sell in the future, you can end up having dead stock. You may end up having figures there sitting around, and you're not able to sell it because it's pretty much overstocked everywhere. So like the one-offs like Pennywise, get 20 of those, man, because those are gonna be grills. I'm telling you right now, those are gonna be absolutely grills. Anyone else?
I haven't pulled the trigger yet on it.
You gotta do it, Aries. Pull that trigger, man.
You should, even if you
take the safety off.
Seriously, even if you have it, you display it, you wait until it sells out, and then you sell it. Definitely, you're gonna get your money back plus more. Definitely.
Well. Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll have to see if I take the safety off. Will. Thank you, Dante.
Do it, because both of them persuaded me, but from a different angle. Will was just talking about how articulate I can be, and Man of Hot just mesmerized me with his tongue. He was just talking in that forbidden language.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, man.
I knew, Dante. I knew. All I had to do was get you posing and Lael. I knew I had it at that point.
I said to Lael, compré el payasito ese. And Lael was like, ooh, wait a second. I don't know what the hell he said, but I want to get it.
I have no idea what that meant, but it was smooth as fuck.
Yo, right?
Well, listen, before we Will, I'm gonna let you close out this segment before we get into some real coffee spilling, although that was kind of coffee spilling right there, baby.
Yeah.
We get into the last segment of this show. Max's Geekdom asks me, 6th Scale Cantina, what's the pricing on the best car Mando? So listen, baby, if you tune in to Live and Raw on Monday at 8 o'clock, which is basically the market chart show live, I've got some interesting information for you on that and some other stuff. So don't miss me this coming Monday at 8 o'clock p.m. like I've been going on every Monday. I go to 9:30 and then I'm out. So you don't want to miss that live. That's where you can find that out, Max's Geekdom. But listen, Will, we're going to get into the last segment of the show, which is going to be really, I think, a coffee spilling, spatchka swigging, safety off segment. But listen, your final thoughts on this. Everybody's bringing up good points. And for me, when it comes to Star Wars, I see the Han Solo is off the charts. Off the charts. The A New Hope, the Stormtrooper. It's like people feel like there's no hope with how popular Star Wars is in Disney, that Han is not going to come out again. What I've been cautioning people, like Lael was cautioning, talking about the Venom and cautioning people. Han Solo, Harrison Ford, as popular as Star Wars is, it's going to happen again. I mean, it might not be those versions, and if you want those versions, it's fine, but you're going to get another Han Solo.
Yeah. I mean, as long as Harrison Ford approves it, that's always been the rumor, right? It's always been the rumor that he doesn't want to give up his likeness again to make toys or collectibles, whatever you call them. And maybe that is true. I don't know, but I would hope so, Aries, because I have that original Han Solo and it's great, but I would love to see an updated version, with Bespin or, with whatever else they want to make Harrison Ford. I'm fine with, right? Maybe our only option is say maybe Han Solo shows up in Book of Boba Fett and he's like a CGI version like Luke. Maybe we get that. But even then, would you have to get Harrison Ford's approval? You might. I don't know. That could be something we see. But as far as the question, I was looking this up while you guys were talking. I just pulled up a random hot toy. So I didn't see anything in there that said limited. So only thing that says limited is the Hot Toys logo at the bottom. Like Hot Toys, copyright limited, whatever. Like other than that, like there's nothing on there that says this is a limited edition piece. They can make as many as they want. So I think they're very careful about the legal jargon and what they say in their listings. So this is on Sideshow, but Sideshow does the listing, but still same point applies. I'm actually fine with them doing reissues. I think I'm with the consensus. I like when they preserve the integrity of the sanctity of the original. So if they do reissue it, improve it, right? Make it a better sculpt and tailor that. Like I think Endgame Loki is a perfect example of that. Like the original is really good, but the new one is better. It should be anyway. Like the tailoring's better, the head sculpt's updated, it's got a new base, it's a new figure. It's the same figure, but it's a new figure. So that's I think how you do a reissue. I'm fine with them not doing limited edition runs. If they want to do that every now and then, I'm fine with it on smaller, less popular pieces. Like say maybe, like I said, they make a Corvus Glaive and they say, okay, we're going to make as many pre-orders as we get within this time frame. That's fine, right? Because he's not as popular as say a Loki or Iron Man or Cap or whatever. But for me, I think it's more inclusive if we do it this way. Like we can get more collectors in because not everyone's like feeling like they're overwhelmed trying to chase back older figures. The only time I've ever bought a figure like that was the Terminator Battle Damage from Terminator 2. Because I was like, they're not, like 90% sure they're not reissuing that anytime soon, right? The Battle Damage Terminator, I knew I needed it. I paid $550 for it because I knew I needed to pay to get what I wanted because I'm not going to have a chance to get it otherwise. And I wasn't collecting at the time when it was made. So that's an issue. That's a situation where sometimes you don't have a choice. But other than that, I say don't run after old figures like that because it's a quick way to get in over your head. And then you look not great when they reissue that figure later. So
absolutely,
especially like Venom. Like I said, all the people who bought that Venom for like $800, he's literally on Sideshow right now in stock. So I mean, like that's the kind of stuff that happens. Like and the stuff too. I don't know if anyone remembers this short period of time, Infinity War Thor, when he sold out briefly. Like he was going crazy. Like people were paying like double for Thor, and then he appeared in stock like 2 days later. So and now, patience. Yeah, like and even Attack of the Clones Yoda, right? He went and sold out. They made more of them. Like they'll do that. So it definitely will happen. So I would say just don't try to not go crazy. If you're gonna pay a little over retail, that's not a problem. But I'm fine with them doing reissues and remakes because it's more inclusive and gets more collectors in at a reasonable price.
Well, listen, this is the Market Show Live, and we're going to go to the next segment. And of course, wait a minute. Someone's trying to hack. What's going on here?
This is an emergency interruption from the Hot Toys Wizard. You have to wonder, am I morphed into the likeness of Fabio? Just listen, baby. Is it possible I will be giving Aries some Aristotle-like Hot Toys future locks? And I say, yes. For Fabs Figures, this is the Hot Toys Wizard, and you're watching Six Scale Cantina, baby.
Celebrity interruption.
Wow, the Hot
crazy.
Toys Wizard going smooth.
Going to smooth agreement. Like, he doesn't smoke, so I don't know why he's done with that.
Boy, that was kind of. I'm digging this. All right. Listen, Hot Toys Wizard. If you're gonna do stuff like that, you could go ahead and interrupt me. I still would like a heads up before you do it, because you interrupt me mid sentence. But that was pretty darn smooth.
Yeah.
And pulling up the chat over here, Max's geekdom is kind of rolling over. OG fan, Wizard. Bloodsport puts in. I don't know. I'm going to ask Dante this question. Aries, how many wizards are there?
Man, there's so many wizards.
Know. Incredible. I don't know. 808 Michigan Jedi putting in here. Tony Montana. Brett the movie guy puts in, Hot Toys Wizard is even late in Fabio's body. Is it possible? LOL, love it. Kingpin here from Single Songwriter. Kingpin, is that you? It's Popsick in the house saying, Fobs, late as always. What is this late thing, Dante? Is he like usually late?
Well, I'm gonna leave that as a urban legend right now. He's always late.
The cigar needs some light, Fabio. Listen, if you could get, is it possible Fabio will the Hot Toys with? I don't know if Fabio would ever like the cigar. Maybe the Hot Toys Wizard as Fabio. You got to remember that's not Fabio, that's the Hot Toys Wizard. He just kind of takes an appearance. But that kind of brings me, it was a perfect interruption to the last and final topic of the show. Did the Hot Toys Wizard actually share with me some locks, as the Hot Toys Wizard, as Fabio put it, for 2022? And I say yes. So I'm going to pull these up onto the screen. And I'm actually going to go, Victoria, with you first on this one. Just the first time you're in the Market Show Live. So kind of put you on the spot over here. The Hot Toys Wizard has seen the future and believes an official announcement sometime before the end of this year, not the end of this month, but before the end of this year, is going to be what I'm going to pull up here on the screen. And when I pull that up on the screen, and actually, even if I go with this view here so you could see that little green guy. Look, here's the thing, Victoria. We have gotten the Luke from the finale scene. We have gotten Din Djarin from the finale scene. But a very, very important part of that finale scene, and one that kind of won Grogu over. And as a child, to trust Luke, walk on over. They had a little bit of communication together. R2 was very, very prevalent in that. And even in the ending scenes, when Din Djarin, was looking at Grogu in the elevators, who was there along with Luke? R2-D2. I feel like that this is a piece that we all thought was probably going to come with one of the Lukes. It did not. But to me, they already have the mold on this. They can label this as Mandalorian, put in 2 alternate Grogus in here, and easy money. Even as it a matter of fact, I'm going to go on a bold prediction. And like we got the Armorer last year, out of nowhere, and it came out to go with your heavy infantry Mandalorian and your regular Mandalorian, is it possible we get another exclusive that's just R2 and Grogu to go with the other 2 pieces that are going to be coming out this fall? What say you?
I think it is very likely that we would see something like this. The previous R2D2 has been gone for a few years now. The aftermarket value has skyrocketed since then. It's a fantastic piece. I have the deluxe one and I love, love, love it. And I think if you really want to finish that scene, you're going to need to have those figures in order to complement each other. You have Dark Troopers, you have the Luke. R2 and Grogu just seems like a very natural fit. It feels like the right way to get that figure back out there for those who don't have it. As long as they don't wait too long on a 3PO, I'd be totally cool with for R2 to make his appearance once again in the Hot Toys line.
Yeah, absolutely. Lael, let's go to you, buddy.
I don't know.
It's interesting, isn't it?
It
Because
is
you almost
interesting.
feel like they have other
Yeah.
things to concentrate on, but I feel like I feel like that they could just pump this out even as a COD exclusive, and people are going to buy because I got to have this to complete.
It would
Scene.
you know what? It would have been almost smarter for them to actually release a 2-pack with R2 and Luke, to be quite honest.
I agree.
I felt as though that
I
would
agree.
that would have been extremely smart. The reason why I say that is because I mean, come on, man, we got enough Grogus. Like there's enough Grogus that we actually get with the Mandalorian figure that's in the box. We got a couple of.
We're gonna get more with Ahsoka.
Exactly. We're going to get more with Ahsoka. I got 2 of them with both. My scout troopers up there with on the speeder bikes. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like, you have enough of those that you can utilize those Grogus. It would just made more sense if they would have did it with Luke. You know what I mean? I think that would have been decent. I mean, if you're giving us a 2-pack of both Nightmare Batman and then Black Suit Superman, if you're giving us a 2-pack Boba, which is excellent, I love that figure. It would have made sense to do something like that, and I think it would have went off. It would have sold. You know what I mean? I mean, it's Luke and R2 go hand in hand, so why not make it a 2-pack? I mean, but considering the simple fact that we already got Luke now, we definitely could possibly see an R2. I don't know. It's kind of hard to basically say. Now, if they did it with the Grogu, I don't know. I don't know if, honestly, to be quite honest, I don't know if I would want to see it. Like, literally, I don't know, because like a lot of people, I am Grogu'd out when it comes to those. I can count how many I have on both
more.
hands. Like,
well,
there's more coming. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because I understand that, and I think a lot feel that way. Would you be surprised? Are you really good if you wake up in the morning and see this announcement? Are you really going to be surprised with it?
Nope.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I won't be surprised, because, like I said, they're milking it, and who knows? Hey, you know what? I got a strange look. I have this feeling, especially the way Lucasfilm is going right now, that we will actually see a Luke show. I really think we will. I think the potential is there. Too. I think because of the ratings that they got off of that show, the fandom, and it blew up. It's still talked about till this day as one of the best scenes ever in the history of Star Wars. I think that it is possible that we might get that exploration. And if something like that is happening, if it's going to be filtered down the pipeline, then you best believe we're going to get another R2. We would definitely get another R2D2 figure. You know what I mean? So that's what I said. It wouldn't be surprising. And it's gonna, and if we get that figure, it's gonna have settings on it where you can actually change the language. One is gonna actually say "Man of Hot," where you can actually change the beeps. So the beeps are gonna be in like forbidden. You know what I mean?
It's true, bro.
So,
you know what? We should ask Howard to give us the instructions in Spanish too, so I can do a video reading them.
Those beeps in Spanish are completely different.
Very different.
All right, Desy, let's go to you. What do you think about this here? Is this something that is going to surprise you if this is drops? Do you think that this is going to come out? What is Hot Toys going to do when it comes to this? Because I agree with Lael. I would have loved to have seen this come with the Luke. I believe that Luke is a DX, right? So they still could have put it in with it.
Yeah.
I personally think they didn't do it because they're probably going to put this. If they put this as a con exclusive like that armor, probably people scoop it up. I'm wondering if they give us any. I like try to look back on that scene, Desy. And I've seen it like it feels like a million times already. What else they can give us there that I'm not thinking of besides R2 and a couple of Grogu's? But go ahead, go.
I mean, the other thing that they're already giving us, which is the Dark Trooper, right? So no, but I feel the same. I have to say that because I think, and I mentioned it before, I was surprised that this wasn't a 2-pack with Luke. I know they don't need R2D2 to sell Luke. I get that, but it still makes sense as a 2-pack.
Yeah.
Right. And I agree with Lael. I've got enough Grogu's, and I don't.
You don't
man, jeez, like the Grogu's fine, but like it just. I said it earlier this week too. That like for me, that Grogu isn't a Hot Toys. Like I know it's hard to get soft goods properly weighted in that small scale. I know 6 scale, but it's really small. I know it's hard, but I mean, you've got a figure with soft goods, a 12-inch 6 scale figure, and then you've got Grogu, who looks like he belongs in Black Series. Like the paintwork is good, don't get me wrong, but it just to me it doesn't match. So my point is, I'd love another R2D2. I don't have one, so I'd like to get one. I'm surprised they didn't release it with Mando Luke. I'd like to see it released in a 2-pack with C-3PO and diecast.
Yeah,
probably not gonna happen. But that's what I'd like.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like with a C-3PO, it would make even if you, especially like, look, with Return, like we're gonna get Return of the Jedi, anniversary coming up here soon. Yeah, what I mean, why not basically just round it out and give us a 2-pack of R2 and C-3PO? That would go off, and people would love it because we still haven't gotten a 3PO. So come on, man, like it makes sense.
Yeah. Agree. Will, let's go to you before we get to Dante on this.
Yeah, I think Aries, this makes a ton of sense. It's funny, I haven't really thought about this topic too much of putting an R2 in the Mando line, but totally it makes sense because I mean, it seems like the original R2 sold pretty well. I have the Force Awakens version, and I got it for like really, really cheap back in the day. Because like I think I told you Aries before, I bought all my stuff when Star Wars was real low. Like the sequels were pretty much the only thing out. There was no Mandalorian, so I bought pretty much everything I wanted at a really good price. And the Force Awakens R2 was the only one available at the time, and I got it, and I love it, and it's great. So I felt no need to get the deluxe version when it came out from the original trilogy because I had the Force Awakens version. They're a little bit different, obviously, but I was like, I'll just stick with what I have. But for sure, you guys are all right. This made total sense as a 2-pack, and it probably should have happened. You could have just given, I mean, imagine the deluxe Mando or the deluxe Luke that we're getting from Mando with the Dark Trooper base plus this R2. That would have been really cool. Even if you charged us, say, $550, $600, it still probably would have been worth it to most people, considering they're probably paying $400 for an R2 right now anyway. So by himself, so this would have been a good deal. But yeah, I don't rule this out. I think you're right, Aries. This is probably, and if Hot Toys is listening, they're probably like, damn, that's a really good idea, actually. Like we could release that. But it makes it's better, I think, to release this with a C-3PO, but they're not going to do that. I think that probably has something to do with Sideshow, but who knows? There's no other logical explanation for why C-3PO hasn't been produced. Maybe they think people won't buy it, but why make an R2 if you're not going to make a C-3PO? Seems a little odd. But yeah, you could make. They could make this R2 from Mando, and I think it would sell pretty well. I mean, people are desperate for an R2. So
well, and the Force Awakens one you mentioned, you have that is actually skyrocketing into the secondary market. Forget about the one with all the accessories. It is a possible, Will, that they're looking at that. And again, I feel like this is a missing piece. But before we go to the final figure that I want to go ahead and speak to. Dante, your thoughts on this one before we go to the final figure here.
So, I know for sure what's going to happen.
Ooh,
I know for sure.
Hot Toys Wizard.
Let me check my phone. So the Hot Toys Wizard just sent me a message saying that we definitely going to see another Grogu.
Oh,
so that's for a fact. We're going to see another Grogu. Yeah. Right, the Grogu mania is rolling. I think we're gonna see R2D2. I would love to see a 2-pack with R2D2 and C-3PO. I think, I can see R2D2 happening more as a one-off, like for the Mandalorian, just kind of like with a Grogu, obviously. But then I can see C-3PO coming as well. But I have a feeling that if C-3PO comes out, it's gonna be a diecast. So I think that's the reason why they don't want to put them together, because it's going to be very pricey. That's just my guess. But definitely we're going to see another R2D2. I mean, I was lucky enough to get mine from Ray, Howard's Toys. the Force Awakens ones. I wanted to get the deluxe edition, but it was too pricey. I'm like, you know what? I just need a R2D2 to represent, so I'm happy I got that one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Listen, we're going to go in. Look, this is the last call because we're going to go into a strong one here, the last figure, before we go ahead and end the show. And listen, you're not going to want to leave. We're going to go to once we end the show and everybody's talking, because is it possible that I have a brand new ending for every show that ends on 6 Scale Cantina? And I say yes. So once, Desy talks about what's going on, and Will and Lael and Victoria, what's going on her channel, Dante, you may want to see what that ending clip is when we sign off. But I'm telling you right now. Anyway, if you didn't hit the like button, please go ahead and do that with 137 in here watching the market show live. We're going to the last figure. Lael, I want to bring this up to you because I think that this one is a strong possibility, because I think we're actually going to see this character next week or the week after, because of the flashbacks in the book of Boba Fett and how they're each showing the progression of Boba Fett. And now you saw last week that he found Fennec. What is he going to find next? And are they going to recruit this person? And is it possible that Hot Toys already knew that, and that's why they teased this, and it would be a perfect time for them to make the announcement? And I really feel strong that this actor is going to show up in the next few episodes of recruiting, because I could see him saying, well, let me just not give it away, and let me just put it up, baby.
I kind of knew you were going to go ahead. I knew you were going to pull this one up.
I just really think, Lael, he's going to be like, you wore the suit, and you wore it admirably. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, see, here's the thing. Like, we had this conversation on Uncivilized, and people were like, well, they didn't think that, even on the panel, they were like, well, there's no vested reason why we would actually see Boba, because he didn't know that, that Vanth had it, or had his armor. You know what I mean? So there's no reason why he would actually. But I'm like, well, it has nothing to do necessarily with the armor. It has something to do with the Syndicate. It has something to do with the Pikes, their run on Tatooine itself. So they're not just basically threatening one section of Tatooine. This is all over that they're trying to dominate.
That's
right.
So
of course, what happens in one section will happen in the other. So I have a strange feeling like, yes, listen. At the end of this last episode, we heard the Mandalorian music. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're talking about just Mando. Like, literally, people have to understand that. It isn't that door is open wide for so many possibilities of other characters. It could be Bo-Katan, it could be Casca Reeves, it could be
yes, and he had interaction with Casca Reeves and Bo-Katan.
Exactly.
Remember, they had words.
And as much people look at me like I'm an idiot, it could be Cara Dune. You never know, because they're keeping all their cards in their hand. They're keeping silent on a lot of things. I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but it's the possibility of everything. Hell, we could see a reconstructed, IG-11. You never know. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that possibility is open for so many different things. I do believe that there's a possibility that we could see this character again, and we can because it makes the most sense because he's on Tatooine. Yes, it also makes the most sense because he himself is a gunslinger, and he's very good at it. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's not out of the realm of possibility that we won't see this character. I think we will, along with other bounty hunters. But I think it is. I think that it is a possibility. Like, why not? It makes the most sense because you don't have to go off world. He has most invested in where he's at right now. You know what I mean? So it just makes sense. Like, so I do believe that we could actually see it. Now, if we don't see him here, we'll definitely probably see him in season 3 of The Mandalorian, because like I said, a lot of people basically love this character, even for the short amount of time he was on screen.
He blew it out one
episode. He blew it out the park, and people love Timothy. You know what I mean? They love him. So, why not? You know what I mean? Like when he had the helmet on, it was, Willfoxification in there as a stunt man. He took it off. It was him. So that's what I'm saying. Like, he's available. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I honestly believe that it is in the realm of, a possibility that we could actually see it. And if they do, I definitely love it.
I totally agree with you, Victoria. I'm going to go to you with you on this. Could we see Timothy Oliphant in this series? Could we actually see Cobb Vanth? And to Loyal's point, even though you heard Mando type music, does that mean it's just Mando? Could it be others? Could we get others besides this? Could we get Bo-Katan? Could we get Costco Reeves? Could we get Axe Woves? Could we get other characters that they're going to recruit? What say you?
I think that musical cue certainly indicated it was Mandalorian Din Djarin specifically,
Hmm.
but Boba, if he wants to take on the Pikes and whatever other syndicates are going to be coming into play here, is going to need as many people as possible. Mando has those connections. He knows
Mhm.
Mayfeld, he knows Cara Dune, he knows
Yeah.
Cobb Vanth, and
Mhm.
I think there's a really good chance, and especially like you're saying, Cobb Vanth is on Tatooine. He's not that far away. Mando can pick him up along the way, and he's going to be an extra helper in taking on these crime syndicates. And if the figure were to coincide with that, that would be the greatest thing for me so far this year. So I
Mhm.
really hope to see that. I loved the character. Timothy Oliphant is fantastic, and that's a figure
Mhm.
I've really, really, really been on edge waiting for that announcement so that we can finally get it.
Me too. Me too. Dante, thoughts on this?
Yeah, I do agree with Victoria too. I mean, this is a really good character. I would
Mhm.
love to see him pairing with Boba Fett. That will be pretty much sick. Now, I'm wondering, he doesn't have the armor anymore, so
Mhm.
what he will he wear? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, obviously clothes, right? But I'm talking about like in regards
Dope.
to like maybe I don't know, maybe he has a spare armor or maybe something that he I don't know because he looks sick with this armor. You know?
Maybe Dante, what they can do is maybe they could finally develop a character. I mean, I don't know what you all think, but I would love to see them. I would love Timothy Oliphant to just maybe become I don't want to say a regular or someone that comes on, kind of like how Bill Burr has with the character of what's that what is that Mayfield is a character.
Yep.
Mayfield.
And maybe every once in a while we'll see him
Hmm.
here or see him there. I'd love to see that, but I think to develop him probably needs to establish a look for him.
Mhm.
Yeah, and remember he has a backstory as well because how did he get the armor, right?
Mhm.
Like all those little
Mhm.
pieces. Maybe it's gonna be a flashback scene where he gets the armor somewhere, and then he starts
Well, he
using
got it
it
from
to.
he got it from the Jawas. I think didn't they show that where he got it from the Jawas?
Yeah, I think he said he bought
Yeah,
it
he
from them.
did.
Yeah.
He
But
bought
Dante,
it,
you're
right?
onto a point. There could be more. There could be a story of maybe Lael, what Dante's saying, and I know you said on Scoundrels, you guys talked about it. Maybe Boba Fett when he was following Mandalorian, and we saw him at the end of season one. Maybe he knew. Maybe he
Well,
got word that
they
that
said
Cobb Vanth had the armor.
that's what OG when Star Wars was just Star Wars was saying, and I stand corrected. He said that Boba told Mando, "I want my armor you got from Cobb Vanth back on
Oh, he
Tatooine."
did say
He
that.
said that. So he was watching. He did actually say he was just probably waiting for his chance to get it back. So he knows about Cobb Vanth because he was around that area. It's like he's been everywhere. So again, continuity is there. It makes sense. You know what I mean? Why not? You know what I mean? Just bring him in and make it. I would stand for it because I love the character. So I mean, why not? It makes the most sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Dante, going back to you. Go ahead and finish up.
Yeah, no, good. You guys have a really good memory, so that's really good. So you guys
It's
are
a
eating
spot
your
it's a spot
you
for
guys
him.
are eating your greens, so that's very good. So clearly, I'm not. So it has to be a flashback about about this
Mhm.
character. We need to
Mhm.
see something else.
Yeah.
You know, I agree with Aries. I want to see him interacting more with Boba Fett. Maybe they work together for something. It is a good character that definitely Disney should explore more and give more
Mhm.
backstory, right? And in regards to Hot Toys, I don't know what they're waiting for, man. I think the next Dear Howard Chan we need to address this. This is long overdue.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Let's go to Will and Desy as we're closing out. Remember, it's last call. What table are you at? We know Popsick is on 5 with Grogu. Come on. But listen, and then we're going to see what's going on everybody's channel, and then you're going to see the new Six Scale Cantina ending the ending, how we end the shows. But go ahead, Will. Give me your thoughts on this particular character. I'd love to see Timothy Oliphant, kind of like how they've done with Bill Burr, maybe slightly recurring.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think he's become a fan favorite, like you all said, for a
Yeah.
reason. I mean, he's very charismatic. He's very mysterious right now, which I think is pretty good and working in his favor.
Mhm.
And I think, I mean, Lael's right. It could be him. It could be him and Mando. I would still bet money on that. I think Lael probably would too. That it's probably Mando, considering they played his music like that. So it's most
Yeah.
likely Mando. But I think what I'm saying is it doesn't have to be. Like it could be
It
someone
doesn't
else
have
too.
to be just him. It
Right.
could be so many different individuals in that wheelhouse. You know what I mean? Because, like
Yeah.
I said, the theme represented pretty much every character in that wheelhouse to play with. You know what I mean? So why not?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, the most sense it makes is to basically have Mando. But
Right.
you know, again, there's just so many other characters that are there they can tap
Considering Mando's so hot
Yep.
right now. Yeah, I mean you want to get him in as much as you can probably because he's just such a hot character in IP right now. But yeah, I would say it makes sense to me. I am going to be disappointed if we don't get Bosk because you know,
Me too.
that's something that like if he maybe shows up a little bit later or something, maybe he joins Boba at the end or something. I don't know. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'm going to be disappointed if we don't get him considering
Yeah.
we saw what is his race
the
called? Leia?
Trandosians.
Yeah, Trandosians. Yeah, so like we saw them already. So like, why not introduce the character? But I would be excited to see that. But yeah, other than that, I think Mando is the most likely scenario for this. You know, and what they do is if Mando has a slightly different outfit, they'll make a Mando. They'll make a Mando from Book of Boba, and they'll label
Oh,
Book of
that's a
Boba
good
Mando.
point. Yeah,
so
they will.
guaranteed they will, because there's got to be some outfit change. Because every time a character shows up in a new IP or a new film or whatever, like a new show, then basically he's going to have a slightly different outfit so they can sell toys. So pretty much always how it goes. So Mando will have something slightly different. His flight suit will be a different color. Something with the armor would be slightly different. So, but yeah, I would say that's a possibility. And if Cobb Vanth finally shows up in this show, then I would say, I mean, they probably should have made his figure anyway, but he's going to get made eventually, I feel like. Just a matter of when, whether it's Mando season 3 or whether it's Book of Boba or whatever the case is. Cobb Vanth is an eventuality, I think, inevitability. So, but yeah, I think it's definitely going to happen for Mando at least, and we'll see who else. I don't think maybe Bo-Katan. I think she's pretty much done with Mando at this point, though. I mean, she's kind of a little bit at odds with Mando right now. So, you know, but I can't wait to get her figure. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
absolutely.
excited to see where this show goes. I mean, I really liked episode 4, by the way. I liked episode 2. I didn't like 1 and 3, but I liked 4.
I love 4.
Yeah, so I'm about half. I'm 50. There's a 50% hit rate right now, which
It's a
is
split
great.
right now, yeah.
Yeah, which isn't great, but I'm hoping it gets better. And you know, we got a lot of good stuff in episode 4. Finally, we got Boba's motivations. That's all we needed. We just needed his
Absolutely.
motivations, and we got that in 4. So.
Well, before Desy, I'm going to let you close this out, and then we're going to close the show. Remember, you're not going to want to go anywhere because I got an ending, how we're going to end the 6th Scale Cantina, so that'll be exciting. But Desy, before I go to you, Far from Death Star brings up a great point. Big clue on The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1. Cobb Vanth's last words, I hope someday our paths will cross again. Listen, I don't think Favreau or Filoni
Put those words in there for no reason.
Exactly. Go, Desy.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, there's no way we're not going to get Cobb Vanth again, either in Book of Boba or in Mando Season 3, right? It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then eventually it means we're going to get the toy, just like, you know, Will was saying it. We're going to get the hot toy eventually. It's just a matter of time. And I'm pretty sure you're going to have a small, like, Avengers scene at the end of Book of Boba, right? It's going to happen. I mean, even if they just bring in Mando now, you've got Fennec, you've got the Wookiee Gladiator, and you've got Boba Fett. That's already enough, right?
Yep.
And we're pretty sure we're going to get Mando. So, and we'll probably be somebody else too, like we've all been saying, you know. So, it's going to be pretty epic.
Yeah.
Well, let's stay with you and listen, everybody. You're going to want to stick around, but everybody, let's see what's going on in our channels. Let's try to keep it to 60 seconds or less on what's going on. But listen, you've got to subscribe to these individuals here who put a lot of time into this content creation, and really appreciate all your support and for tuning in. But Desy, what is going on Metamorphic Customs? What's going to go on with your channel? We're going to see more stuff from you in 2022. Go.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Aries. And no, I just started my channel this week, right? So I wanted to be able to capture the diorama process that I've been working on and just show people how I do it, and hopefully just inspire people to do it themselves. You know, bigger ones, smaller ones, whatever it may be. And I'm really just as I like to put it, on like the shoulders of giants, because there's so many good content creators out there. And just like I'd like to tell everybody, hey, subscribe to everybody here, because it takes a lot of work, as I'm learning, but it's a great experience to be able to do that. And everybody here on this panel has amazing content. So if you're on YouTube, it's free. Like, it's amazing to me that this is just free. So just go ahead and subscribe to everybody. It's really good content is all I can say.
Well, thank you so much. And listen, I have the link to Desy and Metamorphic Customs in the video description below. I also got him at 6 Scale Cantina. Anyway, go ahead, Will. What's going on? You got 60 seconds on Willfoxification.
Yeah, man. So thanks so much for having me, Aries, as always. I always appreciate it. Always a blast, man. But I have a Collector's Mingle, which is my live stream every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So that'll be tomorrow. Honestly, not sure who's on there. I know Lael's on there. Aries, I'm not sure. Are you and Dante on this week?
If you'll have me on, I'll come on.
Okay, I gotta ask. I'll ask. We'll talk. Yeah, because I usually come up with the panel like a couple of days before something.
Oh, Dante's on tomorrow? I'm going to get a haircut. I'm wearing a suit. I'm getting a haircut. I'm wearing a suit. He is not outshining me on your show, bro. Stop playing.
Look at that haircut, bro. He's looking fresh right now. I gotta call his agent. And see if I can get him on the show.
Straight up, man.
He's harder to book than KG Chalamet sometimes,
bro. Bro, he look like he just came off the set of West Side Story, bro, pimping it out, bro, like straight up. Like he got his hair combed back.
He's the Enrique Iglesias of
collecting.
Yeah.
What's going to happen if the Hot Toys wizard possesses Dante's body? Or yours?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You might be on the beach somewhere with a Mai Tai with the sun up. With your pinky out while you're sipping it.
That's true, man. So we did, Lael was on there last time. We did a live unboxing of the XM Studios Revan. Great piece. Really excited to do a review of that one. So I'll be doing that. And then, I appear with everyone. I'm on Lael's live stream every Wednesday.
Go ahead.
So, and then there'll be other stuff I'm doing here and there. But just things
subscribe. Subscribe to Willfoxification. I've got his link, in the video description below. 6scalecantina.com. Come on, Dante, Man of Hot Collectibles. What is going on the Man of Hot Collectibles, my friend?
Well, thank you, Aries, for the invite. Nice to see this nice, awesome panel. Thank you guys for watching tonight. So we have the Mustard Trooper is coming to review, hopefully tomorrow or next week. We have 2 streams next week on Tuesday and Friday. And also, Aries, if I may, I just want to give a quick plug to Fabio. He has a collection tour coming at 8:30. That's the premiere of the video, so we can time it perfectly, when your show is ending. So, if you want to check it out, just, check it out.
No, absolutely. And make sure you subscribe to the Man of Hot Collectibles. Link in the video description below, 6scalecantina.com as well, and the links and resources page. Everybody on here is in the 6scalecantina.com. Mm-hmm. And listen, the Hot Toys Wizard interrupted the show, and he took on the likeness of Fabio from Fob's Figures. Like Dante was saying, you absolutely want to subscribe to Fob's Figures. Also, you can get the link in the description below, and also on the 6scalecantina.com, or go on YouTube, put in Fob's Figures, subscribe. Victoria, what is going on your channel?
Well, first of all, Aries, thanks again so much for having me on the show. Thanks to everybody on the panel for welcoming me, and it's been a great inauguration. I am having a good time in Victoria's Cantina. I'm not quite as active as I have been in years past. And that's just because I have a very crazy work schedule, but I am there. We do the weekly Cantina cocktail hour every Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I do reviews periodically. I have a couple that I am working on for the Vintage Collection specifically. We are in season 3 of the Vintage Collection podcast, available anywhere you get your podcasts. Cantina Chatter podcast, that's my main show. That is going to be coming back in a couple of months. And I'm there on social media. So Instagram at Victoria's Cantina, Twitter at Vic's Cantina. I'm on TikTok, Facebook, pretty much everywhere. Come find me. And of course, the Victoria's Cantina YouTube channel where it all started. Thanks again. I look forward to seeing anybody that wants to pop in and say hello.
Absolutely. And it was a real pleasure having you in here. Looking forward to having you back on the panel on a regular, rotating basis. So awesome to have Victoria in here tonight. And Lael, the 1/6scaleman. We had an epic couple of shows last week.
Yes.
To have you on here again. Yes. What's going on, my friend?
Well, yeah, like we'll say. Well, actually, before I say that, shout out to 6Scale Mafia. Actually, sign up if you haven't already subscribed to his channel. He's, trying to reach that 1K. So make sure that you actually do that as well. Also, shout out to Brother Cousins. He's trying to reach his 2K. So definitely, get out there and subscribe to his channel, Collecting Weekly as well. They're trying to hit that 2K. So everybody who's actually a content creator and doing amazing things on their channels, hit them up. Make sure they get that subscriber count up on the 16ScaleMan YouTube channel. Tomorrow we'll be Take Your Position. We'll be posing up the Infinity War and the Endgame Thor. Everything within that wheelhouse. So it'll be pretty fun to play around with that. So I can't wait for that show tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Also on Monday is our usual comic book talk with friends, where we discuss everything that's comic related, whether it's in film, comic books, cartoons. It doesn't really matter. We have those discussions. It's an open discussion. So I'm really excited about that show. On Wednesdays, it's Say What, where we do a lot of figure talk, whether it's figure collecting, 1/6 scale, quarter scale, statues, stuff like that. We like to have those conversations on that day. So it's going to be amazing there as well. Also on Thursday will basically be Uncivilized Scoundrels. We'll be talking about episode 5. Please, God. Episode 5 of Boba, Book of Boba. So hopefully, like I said, we get something spectacular that day. Also I will be having a show this week. It's going to be Say What Off Topic. It's going to actually be a companion show where I'm interviewing Robert Meyer Burnett again about Star Trek, the motion picture, as well as Search for Spock. And we'll be talking about the X06 figures as well. So stay tuned for that. So yeah, there's a lot going on, man. I'm just excited to be in great company with everybody here. Do subscribe to everybody on this channel. Again, Victoria, I would love to have you on the show someday. Literally, like I said, I want to have, more women, collectors on the show to kind of showcase their collections. And it would just be a great experience to have a talk and to pick your brain about Star Wars. You seem extremely knowledgeable. So I was intrigued in everything that you were talking about, because you were dropping the mic a few times. I was like, yo, she knows her ish. So yeah, literally I would be excited to have you on someday. But yes.
I'd love to. Thank you.
Yes.
And
yes.
similarly, everybody here is invited onto Cocktail Hour.
Definitely.
Nice.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. And if you haven't already, come on, everybody. I don't know how many people we have on right now. Hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, because it's great content. Man of Hot, Victoria, Willfoxification, Desy. I mean, come on, it doesn't get any better than that. Like, let's go.
Come on, baby. That's awesome, Lael. That's awesome. And listen, so what's going on 6th Scale Cantina? Is it possible that I am going to go live and raw this Monday at 8 o'clock with some big secondary market news and some stuff that's brewing I'm keeping an eye on? And I say yes. And listen, we are going to talk about that FET 2-pack. I've got some, and the single version. You don't want to miss Raw on Monday at 8 p.m. It's only a 90-minute show, so you don't want to miss that. I will tell you that the Aries Tarrington show every Wednesday. This Wednesday, we're going to start a little bit later. We're going to start at 7 because I have a very special guest, and it's going to be Victoria. And Victoria is going to be my special guest on the Aries Tarrington show at 7 o'clock, right before Say What. Say What starts at 9:15, right?
I'll be watching. Yeah.
Yep. So, make sure you watch the Aries Tarrington show. Victoria, I'm looking forward to that as well. And I think, Victoria, I'm going to be on your cocktail hour after Dante show. It starts at 11, Friday the 4th.
I think it is Friday the 4th, yes. But yeah, we will certainly publish that on social media when the time comes, and we're really looking forward to that. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna be spilling all the alcohol and the coffee and everything, and
Lael, I think I'm on. I can't even remember. Will, I think I'm on yours tomorrow. And Lael, I think I'm on your Uncivilized Scoundrels on Thursday.
Yes, next Thursday. Yes, you are.
And then Dante, of course, every Friday on your show, my friend. So that's what I've got going on.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, we got Francis Ngannou versus Cyril Gane, and I cannot freaking wait for the UFC tonight, baby. I got to catch up on the prelims. I will end with this. I don't always buy coffee out, but when I do, I buy from 6th Scale Cantina. Stay thirsty, my friends.
Yes, yes. Love it. Love it, man.
Good show, man.
Love it.